All right. So we should be live. Sorry for my tardiness. So wait, you were saying it was in the 80s when
It was
and it's
80.
snowing today?
It was 85 on Monday, which was a historic high. It's like 30 degrees above normal.
Yeah.
And then today it was snowing.
Yuck. No, thank you. Yeah, is that weird? Do you typically get snow this time of year?
Yeah, I mean, we'll get snow. I mean, March is a finicky month. It could snow or it could be in the 70s.
No way.
Yeah.
Well, Bandit, we have a couple topics tonight.
I'm looking forward to this one.
So, can we start off with the good news?
Let's do it.
Yeah.
I like a white pill before we go black pill. So let's do it.
Let's do white pill first. Okay. So I saw that Hegseth in the Department of War was talking about the Boy Scouts.
Mm-hmm.
And how he's pretty much almost liberated them, right?
Well, yeah. Big time.
Where is it? Oh, and Ivy League institutions, but put Scouting America on notice. Should we play this whole thing?
Few words of the Scout Oath.
It's kind of short.
Yeah, I played the whole thing.
Okay, let's do it.
More than a century, Boy Scouts of America prepared over 130 million American boys to make moral and ethical choices, not just during their formative years, but for a lifetime as they grew into men. The first few words of the Scout Oath exemplify this. Quote, "On my honor, I will do my best to do my duty to God and my country." The Boy Scouts are embedded in our communities. They're sponsored by community organizations, service clubs, and churches. Many Boy Scouts have gone on to senior leadership positions in their communities, in business, in our nation's military, and as elected representatives in local, state, and national office. 6 Boy Scouts have been elected President of the United States. 11 of the 12 men to walk on the moon, Boy Scouts. Boy Scout training focused on responsible citizenship, character and leadership development, patriotism, personal fitness, self-reliance, faith, and a wide range of outdoor skills. It was a great program, and this department had a close relationship with the Scouts almost since its inception, as many troops meet on military bases. After 2012, however, the Boy Scouts lost their way, and a once great organization became gravely wounded. Diversity, equity, and inclusion, DEI, crept in. The name was changed to Scouting America. Girls.
Can you pause it real quick? All right.
Yeah, they changed the name to Scouting America.
Well, and I don't think people understand how insidious this is, because guess what? Didn't have to change their name to Scouting of America.
Right.
So we have 2 competing organizations. We have the Boy Scouts, which is now Scouting of America, that has to have boys and girls in it, and Girl Scouts, which is strictly just girls.
Bandit. So girls also have Campfire Girls and Brownies. They have other stuff like that that's just for girls.
Correct.
Not just Girl Scouts.
Well, no, I'm just comparing that, because the Boy Scouts own the Girl Scouts. Boy Scouts were first, and they made a split, another separate group called Girl Scouts. They were separate but equal. Okay, I mean, and then Boy Scouts had to merge girls in it, but boys can't join Girl Scouts. That's a hard no. Not saying a guy should be joining Girl Scouts, but just to prove a point,
right?
There is no male space. Like, every single male space has to be infiltrated by women, and let's be honest here. How safe is it to have 12 to 18-year-old boys going through puberty,
right,
sleeping next to girls?
Right.
Now, just to give you an idea, I used to be a Boy Scout. My dad was a leader in Boy Scouts. He's looking at it now. He even said, if I was on a trip right now, I wouldn't get any sleep. Because
Yeah.
what happens if the boys and the girls were dating? How are you going to keep them separated?
Dating at 11 and 12 years old.
Well, no,
what
I'm
they
saying,
call dating.
well, they go up to 18. It's middle school and high school.
Right. No,
And that's
no,
the other
that
thing.
these
You're dealing
11, 12-year-olds try the dating thing. They have boyfriends at school and all the things. Like,
I know it gets real dicey real quick.
yeah.
So I just want to put context in this video. So when he's saying the whole history of be prepared, there's one thing that he's missing. Part of the Scott motto or oath is morally straight. How does that work in today's society?
That's right. Because this is very near and dear to your heart, Bandit. Because
Yes.
Why?
Why? Because Boy Scouts was one of the last organizations that actually mentored men. And to a degree where you took nerdy boys, let's be honest, at 12, 13 years old, gave them some sports, gave them some knowledge, and turned them into military people. Because most of the Boy Scouts, or at least a lot of them, they joined the military. You have different organizations that treat, like been on military bases looking at the military obstacle courses, and they made us go through those. So they literally train you to be in the military as best they can do for a kid. And you're telling me you're taking a nerdy kid that weighs, 75 pounds soaking wet to going in the military, and then look what it is today.
Were you a Boy Scout?
Yes, I made it to life. I didn't get my eagle. So this is kind of near and dear to my heart, but it just proves that there's no good organization left to mentor men.
Yeah.
Like this was the premier one. If you really think about it, you're taking, like I said, nerdy kids and turning them into men by the time they're 18. They taught you leadership. They taught you everything. And people are going to dog me in the chat, and I know it. You can teach leadership, and how you teach leadership is giving room for boys to become men, where they have the opportunity to fail and lead other people. It's not just that you fail. They teach you how to handle different situations and how to do it better, and that's how you learn. So you can teach leadership. And you don't get that today. So you can continue the video. It's just, I might be stopping a lot to give context on a lot of
That's
this.
fine. That's fine. Yeah, I actually heard that the other day. Somebody said that to me. And I don't know if it's as easy to teach leadership qualities to somebody after they've, reached the age of fully formed brain development. I think it's a lot harder. That's why I think the Boy Scouts is a good idea, to instill a lot of these basic principles and values while they're young.
Leadership in a nutshell, for teaching it, is Plato's cave. You need to go into a situation that you're uncomfortable with. It's uncomfortable. And you need to go into that cave, slay the demon, aka the challenge or the scenario, and come back, and then someone's going to say, hey, you handled that okay, or hey, next time do it this. And you can get promoted to different squad leaders or different leadership roles. I'll be honest, I was the troop leader. I led 100 boys doing it. We had a massive troop. I was the senior person that led all those people, gave announcements, roll called, all that stuff. The only way you can become a leader is given that position of, I wouldn't say power, but the opportunity to lead
responsibility.
People. Yes, you need to give responsibility, but you need to allow people to fall so they can get taught how to handle different scenarios, and that's leadership.
Yeah. Hello, Uncle Guns. Uncle Guns said hello.
Hey, Uncle Guns. We got to catch up sometime.
God, as the ruler of the universe, was watered down to include openness to humanism and earth-centered pagan religions. Scouting became an organization that no longer supported and
Yeah,
celebrated.
wait a minute. Pagan
boys.
religions.
Yeah.
The whole point of Scouts is there's and a lot of people are not going to like this, but it's believing in God. You have to. It doesn't matter what the God is, but you have to believe in a higher power. So that's all the Abrahamic religions. It doesn't matter as long as you believe in a higher power. So believing in Satanism and atheism, you can't be a Scout, because the whole thing is, if you look at the 12, I'm going to see if I can remember. It's been 25 years. It's been 30 years at this point. So you have do my duty to God and my country. It's part of the motto. I will do my best to do my duty to God and my country. Let that sink in. That's part of the oath that you're giving. Duty to God and my country. Morally straight. How can you be all this and be satanic or atheism? It doesn't work.
Wait, are pagans satanic or atheistic, or are they polytheistic?
Pagans, depends on the paganism. Like there's the paganism that's satanic, which believes in the devil, and then there's paganism that believes in like Gaia which would be closer to more Buddhism. It depends what kind of paganism
hold on.
you're talking about.
So how can somebody believe in the devil but not believe in God too?
Well,
I mean, they're confessing that they believe a devil exists, but not the opposite.
Well, it's what you're worshiping. So, I mean, instead of believing in positive, you're believing in negative. Like if you're looking at a coin, you're looking at the flip side of the coin. You're believing in the negative aspect of life. So, like witchcraft, that's paganism. That would be like going to a church. That would be like going to mass. See, it's the opposite of it. It's the opposite side of the coin. So, give you a couple of things why he's saying like this whole thing about religion is a big deal. Scout law, the last commandment of the Scout law is reverent. How can you be reverent if you're atheistic or satanic? You can't. And then the morally straight thing doesn't work either, because you can't have morals if you believe in atheism, because atheism doesn't have morals, because morals come from divine truth. Because if you think about it, humans in nature are not moral creatures. Someone has divine morals to you because you need to have a standard. You need to have someone to give you that standard of what is right and wrong. So that this is where say like atheists get wrong. If you don't have a higher power telling you what is morally good, it just becomes what's objectively truth. So basically, your morals are based not on fact or some standard. They're based on, like tactiles, like the moral good of the situation. So it's like what gives you like the Unitarian approach, like what does the best moral good for society, which can be negative or positive. There's no foundation. That's why this stuff is important. That's why they say morally straight is part of it. Physically, here, Scout oath to keep myself physically strong, mentally awake, and morally straight. That doesn't work there. And the Scout law, the last one is be reverent. You can't be reverent if you don't believe in God. How does that work? Like, this is where like DEI comes in and just destroys the whole thing. So we can continue. I just, like I said, I'm gonna leave. And just to let you know, I want you to keep these 12 words, because this is the Scout law. Okay, 12 things, real quick. This is what they stand for. This is like basically what Scout stands for. Trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent. So think about those words, and then he's going to go over what Scouting has become, and you're going to watch every one of those words get flipped on its end. Okay?
Yes. Uncle Gunn said someone will come along and outdo the Boy Scouts. Someone will mirror the Scouts, but more hardcore. Something closer to a Spartan Ogagi
There,
would be preferable.
that does exist, and it's called venture scouting. That's like scouting on steroids. That's when you do like you're 20 feet in the air and you're jumping between suspended trees that are 20 to 50 feet in the air, and or going 50-mile hikes in the desert by yourself. Like, but that's the venture scouting is like 18 to 22, I think. So it's like the scouting on steroids. But
Yeah.
so that
Yeah.
does,
Johnny said scruples and morals, like we were talking about last night. You know, I was thinking about what caught me up when you were discussing the things. It sounded like you were trying to say I wouldn't retaliate the way I did if my son wasn't like killed. Like that's part of my scruples, like vengeance. Like, I mean, I wouldn't do it to an innocent person, obviously, but if somebody wants to trade, I'm all about that.
yeah.
Did you listen to me and Johnny's chat from last
Yes,
night?
I listened to a little bit. I was going in.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's always nice to see you and Johnny Midnight go out because it's always going to be a good conversation.
Oh, yeah. That was fun. Okay, play more?
Yes, please.
Department of War.
They even welcomed the destructive myth of gender fluidity and transgenderism to infiltrate their membership. Along the way, standards were lowered and merit destroyed in favor of an insidious, radical, woke ideology that is anti-America and anti-American. The result, membership cratered. Americans didn't want this. In 1970, 10 million boys participated in Boy Scouts. Currently, less than 1 million boys and girls participate.
Hold on.
Further,
What year did he say?
1970. So I'm going to do some math.
Yeah, do the math on what our population
I'm
was
already
back
on
then. Okay, yeah. Because 1 million
Yep,
versus 10 million.
I'm doing it right now. That's exactly what I was looking at.
I'm gonna throw out a guess.
Okay, take a guess what that population was.
I don't know the I'm just gonna throw out a percent number. I think they had a. I can't. What was the population in 1970?
To give you a ballpark, there's roughly 360 million Americans right now. Okay,
Yes.
ballpark.
Okay.
1970,
And then we had 1 million.
Yep, 1970 U.S. population was 203 million. We'll just use easy numbers. We'll just say 200. So 1 divided by 2. So you're looking at 0.5% of the American population was in Boy Scouts. Now you got to figure how many.
Now it's like 0.0.
Oh, here. Okay. Now I'm going to take.
Hold on.
Well, this
Is
is
it 0.003 now?
Well, it's. Well, no, that was 7%. I was using wrong numbers. Hold on.
Okay.
They said 7 million, right? Didn't they say 7 million? It went from 7 million.
I thought he said 10. Hold on, let's back this up. Let's get our facts straight.
In 1970, 10 million boys participated in Boy Scouts.
10 million.
So that is 5%. 5% of the population. And now it's 1%. It's 1 billion out of 360, which is 0.002. What was times it by 100? So I get the percentage.
Yeah. You know what's crazy? It actually mirrors the actual percent of intersex trannies we have in our population.
Yes, but I'm going to put you in retrospect, okay? 1970 total births, okay? Because remember, Boy Scouts there was that's globally, born in America. Okay, so there was 3.7 million births. Okay, so let's do some math here. Okay, I'll keep this real. We'll just round up. We'll just say 3.5 million per year. Boy Scouts is 7th through 12th grade, so that is what, 5 years? 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 6 years. Okay, so 3.5 times 6. Let's do some math. 3.5 million times 6 is 21 million people were born on average. Okay. That's going to be total births. Now, if we take
So half of those are boys.
so that would be divided by 2. We got 10 and a half. And you're saying 10 and a half million boys were born.
Most boys were in Boy Scouts. Is that what you're saying?
What I'm saying is, yes, most boys were in Boy Scouts. There you go. So just to give you some ballpark numbers,
Yeah.
that's a lot of boys. I mean, and I'm not saying it's a significant part of the population were in Boy Scouts. Okay. And now a million, which is
Yeah, a million.
okay. We can continue.
It's crazy.
It is crazy.
Hello, Billy. Hello, Rex. Johnny Midnight. Okay.
Currently, less than 1 million boys and girls participate. Further, many of these community organizations that once supported Scout troops, they withdrew their support. And Scouting America, the parent organization, filed for bankruptcy protection. The changes Scouting America made since 2012 have also jeopardized the relationship with this department. And I was very seriously considering ending our support of Scouting altogether. We have a department to protect, after all.
Right.
Beyond that, the policies Scouting America have in place violate President Trump's Executive Order 14173, entitled Ending Illegal Discrimination and Restoring Merit-Based Opportunity. But before making this big change, I decided to meet with the current Scouting leadership to convey our deep concerns. Based on that face-to-face conversation and subsequent conversations, Scouting America agreed to make several key reforms. And let me briefly highlight a few of them. First, Scouting America has agreed to comply immediately with the provisions of Executive Order 14173. This includes reviewing and replacing politicized, divisive, and discriminatory language throughout the organization, programs, and all publications. No more DEI, zero. Second,
See, that's good news, Bandit.
Yes, very good news.
Yeah, unless they're like these universities that are still doing the DEI. If there's women involved, all these feminists with nose rings, they're going to still use some language and still try to indoctrinate the children.
Well, the thing is, they can't because to pull back the curtain a little bit, the biggest supporter of Boy Scouts, hands down, even more than the military, is guess what organization? And it's religious.
The Catholic Church?
No. Close, but no. I'll give you a hint. Salt Lake City.
Oh, the Mormons.
Yes. The Mormons were the biggest supporter of the Boy Scouts. Now, they pulled out all their funding because they went to have girls in Boy Scouts. That killed it for them. And that's why they filed for bankruptcy. Now,
the Mormons stopped supporting them.
And if the government pulls out of Boy Scouts, it's going to get real nasty because they're going to have no funding. So this is why they're kind of capitulating, because their backs between the wall.
Oh, good. Well, they're cornered.
Quote, Citizen in Society merit badge that encouraged Scouts to explore diversity, equity, inclusion, and identity. They always mask it under a name that sounds great, but's doing something else.
Now pause it.
And then asks those Scouts to engage in activism.
It's always a name that sounds great, but it's doing the opposite.
So there used to be a merit badge called citizenship, and it taught you how to be a citizen, what it takes to be a citizen, and it was work. That was the hardest merit badge to do because you actually had to write papers. It was like, to get that merit badge, you actually had to, like, it was like going to school almost. Like, you had to have someone present it. At summer camp, you were there all week. You had to write essays. I mean, it was work. And that one taught you basically what high school was supposed to teach you, what it is to be a U.S. citizen. Like, what's the value of voting, why it's important to vote, all this great stuff. They pulled that merit badge for this one. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, it's beyond insidious. So that's why he's nailing this one, because basically this one was the whole reason why you had, like, when it says the country part. This was the country part of Boy Scouts, and you took that out and replaced it with this DEI bullshit.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, Derek. By the way, hello, D-Dog. Good to see you. Okay.
On those topics. That badge has been discontinued. Third, Scouting America will modify its policy to make clear that membership will be based solely on biological sex at birth and not gender identity. That means that the application, any application, will have only two sex designations, male and female, and the application must match the applicant's birth certificate. Scouting will also make clear that biological boys and girls will not be allowed to occupy or share intimate spaces together. Toilets, showers, tents, anywhere like that. Fourth.
Wait, so they're not actually making it Boy Scouts again. They're just outlawing the tranny portion and the non-binary portion.
I don't know. I mean, keep playing.
Okay.
Scouting America will honor those who serve by waiving the registration fees for children of active duty, Guard, and Reserve families. Should have happened a long time ago.
Yeah.
Fifth, in partnership with the War Department, Scouting America will introduce a new military service merit badge. These and other changes that Scouting America's leadership committed to, in that room right over there, will hopefully result in a rededication to the foundational ideals that have defined Scouting for generations: duty to God and country, leadership, character, and service. Mm-hmm. However, as President Reagan famously said, trust but verify. This agreement is new, and the department's support for Scouting America is contingent on them making substantial progress toward reaching these and many other positive changes in the next 6 months. At that time, we'll vigorously review progress and decide whether or not to continue our support. The onus is squarely on Scouting America to deliver. If we're unsatisfied with Scouting America's progress toward and commitment to the agreed upon reforms, we will find them in violation of the President's executive order and cease our support. We hope that doesn't happen, but it could. Ideally, I believe the Boy Scouts should go back to being the Boy Scouts,
yes,
as originally founded, a group that develops boys into men. Maybe someday. There are also additional...
Maybe someday?
Well, remember, I want you to read between the lines here.
Mm-hmm.
He's basically saying, I'm putting these rules in, and then we're going to come back in 6 months and see where we stand. And you ever watch Empire Strikes Back when Darth Vader talks to Lando? He basically says, pray that I'm not going to, I'll just sum it up real quick. Pray that I don't change the situation any worse than what it is. Basically saying, I have you by the balls, Boy Scouts. You're going to do what I say, or I'm going to change the deal and make it worse for you. So remember, he's not saying that there should be, I should say this. He's basically saying, I want boys to be in Boy Scouts, and we're gonna see where you stand in 6 months, and we're gonna change. My feeling is they're gonna change that policy. He's gonna say, "Oh, you did what this is? Well, this time I'm changing the deal again, and you need to kick the girls out of Boy Scouts."
You know what? And he's using this executive order that Trump put out,
Mm-hmm.
pretty much vanquishing DEI stuff. Yeah. It hasn't worked out well in the universities. They're trying. They're absolutely trying. But I wonder if there could potentially be a piece of policy that they are then going to have to be like, oh, sorry, girls, you got to go. We're going back to founding stuff.
I mean,
like later, maybe it's in the works. That would be cool.
Let's think about this, okay?
Yeah.
Okay, you were a 13-year-old girl at one point.
Mm-hmm.
You were also a 17-year-old girl at one point.
Mm-hmm.
How did you act when you were 13? And how did you act?
Honestly, I acted like a boy.
Okay, I'm thinking mentality-wise. Think about yourself when you were 13 years old. You know, just starting puberty, all the fun stuff the acne, all that crap. Okay. And the hormones is what I'm trying to get at.
Mhm.
Now, picture yourself at 17. Now, let's add boys to the mix.
Mhm.
Now, what would
A
happen?
recipe for
Disaster.
disaster.
Now, you're literally sleeping in tents next to each other. So, could you imagine? Okay, Boy Scouts. Oh, cool. We're dating now. We're
Yeah.
15 years old. We're 16 years old. And now there's tents right next to each other. Like, does anybody realize how bad of a situation this is? And I'm just gonna say, speaking as a man at 13 to 17 years old, I'm gonna stick my chest out when there's a girl around, so I make myself look good. Do you know the competitiveness it's gonna be, and the verbal abuse, the mental abuse for men at that age? What they would do to get, because there's girls around.
Yeah.
I mean, my troop did some things that girls would be terrible. Like, and it was common back in the 90s when I was in it. Like, we had an event where we went to a fair. Okay, this is how the Boy Scouts taught us how to speak to girls. Okay, and you okay. So we went to what's called the Bloomsburg Fair, which is the biggest state fair in Pennsylvania. Okay, so that's everybody, college girls, everybody. Okay, we had our Class B uniforms, which is just a red shirt that said my troop number on it. We would go to the fair with Sharpies, and they said the guy that has the most amount of signatures from girls gets the prize. And we would come back with we would have to go to talk to girls and say, sign my shirt. All right. And this was at 13 to 17-year-olds doing this.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So this was the 90s. I mean, I don't think they could do this today, but this is how they got us out of our shells to speak with girls and to handle ourselves in situations. This is the kind of, you couldn't do this with girls in the troop. Can you imagine telling like a 13-year-old girl to get signatures from older men?
Right.
They ain't gonna.
Right.
That's a sign for disaster.
Yes.
So that's what I'm talking about. Like the things that we can get away with that we used to do to build confidence and speaking with girls and everything. And this was a troop tradition that went back 50 years. Like this was not something that we just thought up of. That they continually taught this year after year. You couldn't do that today.
Yeah.
So I mean, like I said, it was more than just going outside and doing activities, doing like going to outdoor hiking and stuff like that. Like they taught you how to handle yourself in different scenarios, and that's how they taught you how to speak to girls and how to be respectful. Because if you treated girls badly, you're going to learn real quick that this way of getting signatures isn't going to work.
You're right.
So like trial by error, and it's basically, what do we tell everybody now with trying to get a girl's number, which is basically what we're doing in a nice way. We're getting the girl's number. A lot of them we got bonus points if we got girls' numbers on the shirt, and it was the shotgun approach. You're going to fail, but guess what? You're eventually going to get that one girl that's going to write their number on the back. So I'm just saying, like, they can't do that today.
Yeah.
So you can continue.
Yeah. Hello, outlaw.
Youth and boys organizations, groups like Trail Life USA and Awana clubs that are already compliant with President Trump's executive order that the department may eventually support as well. But we're watching, and we're watching closely. We look forward to providing you with updates after our 6-month review, and wish the best to Scouting America.
Wish the best to Scouting America.
What does that sound like to me? That sounds like to me, pray we don't alter the deal any further, because that's what he's like.
It sounded more like we talked. This is what Scouting America agreed on. We wanted more. We'll see if they follow through within the next 6 months.
To me, it sounds like I'm dictating terms. You're going to listen. That's what it sounds like. To me, it sounds like there wasn't much negotiating. It was more like, you want your funding?
I
You want,
wonder who all was in that room, because it's got to be the higher echelons of the Boy Scouts, right? I wonder if there's any women that took part in that fucking conversation.
I bet you there are. I mean,
You think
you
so?
I mean, so Boy Scouts had a thing where you could be. This is where it gets a little dicey. Even when I was in it, you could have male and female leaders, but you couldn't have female scouts. So, like, if a mom wanted to be a leader, she could be one of the leaders of the troop. But
Why?
I'm just saying that's the way it was. They,
When you were a kid?
yeah. So
Oh, they
parents,
already were.
yeah. So parents could because you understand some troops, they were small towns, they didn't have enough men to do it. But I'm just letting you know, like, they had women as leaders back in the day. That was the
See,
evolution.
that was the step in the wrong direction.
Yes, that was the evolution. So it ended up being just men, and then the moms came in and were the leaders, and then we eventually got into why can't my girl be a
Why
voice?
can't my daughter come in? And now
Yeah,
it's like, why can't my tranny come in? What?
exactly. So that, no, you had some women in there, and it literally
No.
goes to shit.
Tell them no.
I know. We're on the same page. I'm just telling you
Decades ago, no.
this was in the. I would say I was in Boy Scouts from '94 to 2003.
Okay.
I mean,
Yeah.
technically elementary school, so I could technically go back to. I'm not going to dox how old I'm. Pretty. You can get an idea how old I am, but I started scouting in probably 92, 93,
Mm-hmm.
and I stopped in 2003. So you can do the math there, but yeah, it's a damn shame what it's come down to. Now, the next thing we're going to play.
Hold on. I want to try to find.
What's your question?
Trying to remember this media. I started following them. I can't, for the life of me, think of it right now.
What's your question?
Oh, they keep posting all these crazy bitches with nose rings, you know, talking about how they're not listening to the law and how they're doing it anyway with
so
the
basically
DEI stuff at the universities. They're catching so many of them's confessions.
Okay, so
all over the United States.
the nose ring theory strikes again. So, okay, I want to tell you something, and this is hilarious. Okay, I want you guys to all think about this. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
my brother-in-law is a logger. His trade is being a lumberjack, straight up lumberjack. Okay, so he's in farm country. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so when you see a cow, cows and bulls both have nose rings. So
Yes.
it's not cheap to put a nose ring in. Okay, so what does a nose ring mean to the farmer? What a nose ring means is that this animal is a pain in the ass and is either difficult or mean.
Yes.
The only way to control it is to grab the nose and pull it down so you can tell it I'm its boss and you're going to come with me. Okay?
Yes. Yeah,
So
yeah.
the human comparison. So basically what you're telling the world is I have a nose ring. I am difficult to be around.
Yes.
I'm a problem child. I don't listen, and I need to be put in my place or put into a submissive position.
Yep.
So that is what you're telling me when these, and when my I guess it'd be brother-in-law. When my brother-in-law told me that, he's like, yeah, this is why I laugh anytime a girl has a nose ring, because what you're saying is you're difficult to be around. You're telling the world that you're difficult to be around. And
Yes.
nose ring
No,
theory,
that's exactly what they're telling them.
I know. It's crazy. It's like, but a lot of these girls are too stupid to realize that's what it means. Some girls know, but not.
You know what? You know what? I was at Starbucks with my friend a couple weeks ago, and there were 3 crazy bitches that worked there, and they all had the bull ring. And the girl that got our drink order Like she was really pretty and her hair wasn't blue or green. It was still a natural color. And I could tell like she didn't have any other piercings in her face.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked her, I was like, did that hurt in your nose? She's like, actually, no, it wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. I was like, is that like a thing like in your like friend group? Because I wanted to know why you would do that to your face. I was like, so why, like, is it something you and your friend group are into? And she's like, actually, no, I'm the only one in my actual friend group that has it. I was like, but you got it since you've been working here, right? She's like, yeah. I was like, okay, just checking.
But the
sure
thing
as shit. No, 2 of her coworkers have it. So of course she starts working in this environment, and then she's surrounded by these nose ring, bull ring chicks. Like, I hope next time I go there, her hair's not green.
I mean, I don't mind if a girl has like a nostril piercing. Like,
no,
like
a woman. No, Bandit.
I know.
There's something wrong with a woman in the brain who wants to put a fucking hole in their face. Period. The end. Period. The end. Don't even say, oh, that little bit, because that little bit is that mom being a troop leader.
I mean, you know, you put enough girls in a group, they're gonna the one that's the most that's the boss is gonna tell the rest of the group what to do, just to fit in. But yeah, go back to what you're saying about the nose ring theory that you're trying to bring up. You were saying before that.
Oh no, I was trying to remember the media. Something media. I'm trying to now remember who I. Oh.
Is it Mediaite?
No. I know who I sent it to last. People that work at A&M. I'm like, be on the watch out for this. Because it's not accuracy in media, I don't think. Yeah, it is accuracy in media. Accuracy in media. It's my new favorite Instagram channel. Yes. Dude, they are all about undercover videotaping for these crazy bitch confessions. Here, I'm going to share this link so people can follow it. Nope, not paste. No, shoot. Hold on. Back up.
You know what's scary?
What?
I just looked up nose rings,
mm-hmm.
and the 4th article down is, I didn't know this was a thing. Gauging. They're going to gauge their nose ring. So what are you going to do? Like, blow your nose and it's going to go down your throat? Like,
it's not good.
Plus you'd be smelling metal all the time because it's great. Imagine just smelling metal all the time.
No. Okay. Accuracy in media right here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, check this out.
And probably that's what most programs that are offered out in California or at any higher education. We're accredited by the CSWE, which is the Council on Social Work Education. Mm-hmm. Yes, if you go to, let's say you don't even want to go to WKU, if you go to a college that has a social work program that's accredited by the CSWE, yeah, it's in their curriculum standards that we teach about ADEI, anti-racism, diversity, equity, and inclusion. Yeah. And that doesn't have anything to do with what the government would like us to do.
Kentucky's DEI ban has a loophole which allows DEI to continue in curriculum. This is so that universities can meet accreditation requirements. As a result, states like Florida, Georgia, Texas, South Carolina, North Carolina, and Tennessee have launched a new accreditation body so that they can remove divisive DEI from education. Kentucky has yet to join.
At some point in time, the government gets a hold of our accrediting body and talks to them.
Yeah.
We'll deal with that when the time comes. But no,
When the
time, we
okay.
are literally required in order
Well,
to
just
maintain our
real
accreditation.
quick question.
Okay.
Things.
Mm-hmm.
So if Trump passed an executive order to ban DEI,
Yes.
the government pays for colleges.
Yep.
Why can't you do this with why can't every single DEI thing in the country be banned? If they're doing it to the Boy Scouts because they're paying for it, let's take that logic to the same conclusion with school funding. How can they at some time saying the Boy Scouts have to get rid of DEI, but they can't tell college to do it? Does that make it? If you don't want,
No, Derek, it's not a woman.
that's not a woman.
That's not a woman. Sorry.
No, that's
It's a crazy bitch. Crazy bitches aren't women.
That's a swamp. That's what that is. Do you know Swamp Thing from like the 80s and 70s?
Uh-huh.
Swamp
Yeah.
Thing there.
Yeah. No, but this page is full of these confessions, and I love it. All these people like, oh, we're still doing it. Don't worry. You'll still be receiving. Yeah.
We're used to going around them and finding ways around. We're able to do the things that we want to do, have these events and programs. We have to be a little more careful.
Yeah. Important. Super important. At Texas A&M, they call it, let's see, they changed the DEI language to, I forgot what she said it was. I had a friend that tried to get in there and they wouldn't let her because they already knew kind of where she stood on the things. But she tried to get in there and they denied her access. So
Good.
yeah, they don't use DEI anymore. It's like, what did she say it was?
They probably just changed the words around so they can.
They did. Yeah, they did. All these universities have, because you know what? The same crazy bitch feminists that push this agenda still work there, and they are true believers of said agenda.
Well,
And they're going to manipulate and sneak in all the things. And that accuracy in media is catching a lot of confessions from ones that are too stupid to keep their fucking mouth shut.
Well, feminist, like when you're part of the cult, you feel like you can't be touched.
Exactly, because you've never been touched, ever.
That explains a lot. But,
yes. No, it's because they've
road.
always gotten to do whatever they want. They have not been held accountable.
No, they have not.
Yeah. So, their delusion that we created by allowing them and giving them everything that they want, they're right in believing that nothing's going to happen because nothing's happened yet. And we did this to these people. We're responsible for this shit, Bandit.
Hey,
Not only the people that encouraged it, but also the people that were unwilling just to say no.
No, we've been fighting that good fight. So don't say I'm responsible for this shit. We've been calling this out.
Yeah, you do. Wait, Bandit. You do that shit at work? Do you call it out at work?
When I can, yeah.
Yeah?
Well, I luckily work for, even though we have lefty policies, most of the people we work with are conservative because, I work in finance. So It's one of those, okay, that's a policy, but we just laugh at it and move on. We don't really talk about it.
Yeah.
And there's no pink hair in our workplace. Everybody's like basically the average people, or they're also older too. So they're like Gen X and boomers that are like, no, we're not putting up with this bullshit. No.
Okay. Well, that's good. That's good. Hello, Sam Fisher. Good to see you. You're responsible for it too, Derek. We all are.
Mm-hmm.
All of us. Oh yeah, PBD.
So this video, I warned
Yes.
the audience. video, you're going to like a couple points, you're going to hate a couple points. Now,
Is it proper torture?
it's proper torture,
Okay, good.
and the guy is PD Patrick Bet David said he's a center left guy. No, he's an academic,
Mm-hmm.
and he works for college, so he's not. So, like I said, the reason why I bring this up is because I want to break this down, because it's almost what he says. Think of everything he says and read between the lines. So he's playing a very tightrope game of saying certain things that you're going to be like, oh, I can't believe a lefty's saying this, but I want you to read between the lines here, because that's when you're going to be like, oh, I see what he's doing here. Or no, what he's saying is not really what he's saying. And this guy looks like Michael Cervantes from
Scott Galloway, Why Young Men Are Falling Behind.
Yeah. So be prepared. There's going to be points when you're going to want to kill this guy. Just letting you know. Metaphorically.
Maybe you.
Kill the idea, not him.
I'm going to try reading between the lines.
Yep.
Okay. Let's go.
Let's do this.
Telling young men that they are the problem and that they're predators, they begin to believe you.
How much of a young men struggling today is them versus the system?
And the most frightening statistic is that if you go into a morgue and there's 5 people who have died by suicide, 4 are men.
I don't think we have enough voices of men that are good examples and challenging boys to become men.
If you reverse engineer to the single point of failure when a boy comes off the tracks, it's to one point, and that's when he loses a male role model. The far left hasn't been any more productive because their advice is to say, okay, you don't have problems.
By the way, that dude was voted out along with what's her name? The black crazy bitch. Jasmine Crockett was voted out of Texas. Both of those
hilarious.
two. Right? By the way, I heard something earlier. I don't know if it's true. Apparently something Trump appointed Charlie Kirk to before he died that has something to do with something with military.
Yes, his wife that has no military experience.
So he did appoint Erica Kirk to a man's job, is what you're saying?
Yeah, it's like, let me look up. I want to get this right. Give me one second.
No, why won't that man stop fucking appointing women to man's work?
She's appointed to the Air Force Academy Board of Visitors. Now, I want you to see something. Like, man, I wish you watched Revenge of the Sith, but it's hard to pull those quotes up because I don't want to get your channel flagged. But
that's more Star Wars.
Revenge of the Sith is like a hard right show. Trump and Erica Kirk are holding hands. I really like, and the way Eric is looking at him is like, I slept with you. Like, you know that look, like that look when you look up to a girl and the girl's smiling at you, like ear to ear.
Are you talking about Trump?
Yes.
And Erica? No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Yes.
It's not. I'm telling you.
She's trying to fill his legacy and carry on his legacy, and it's not going to do her well. She has a bunch of young children.
No.
She does not have time for man's work.
I'm telling you, I wish I could find it, but
one shot of her looking at him like they screwed.
Yeah, it's really.
No.
It's really bad. Like, and the way, you just got to look at the pictures. Like, there's pictures of her, like, literally Trump, and then she's, like, putting her chin up to his chin, like, in his shoulders, embracing him. Like, it's not looking good. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if we go, like, 6 months from now, we find it, Erica Kirk is the new Monica, if you know what I'm getting at. Mark my words. 6 months from now, we'll find out Erica Kirk.
It's a
New
chipper with a name on it. See, I don't know. I think that shit's gonna ruin her as a woman.
Oh yeah,
and
it's
as a
already
mother.
ruined. I mean, not to go down this.
I mean, when Charlie was murdered was the beginning
Yes,
of the ruining of her as a mother and as a woman.
You gotta understand, Erica Kirk is trained in marketing and as an actress. Okay, so she is taught how to do performances. Why do you think
She's not very good at performances, though.
I don't know. I mean, the halftime show did. I mean, that was her idea. I mean, granted, it was shoestring budget. It was half-assed a lot of time. But I'm saying for what it was, they got that was the highest YouTube video of all time. It was like current for streaming was like 14 million people. So she accomplished something. I can't take that away from her. But you got to understand that's like debating college campuses is not her strong point. I mean,
No,
like,
it's not.
So
It's not her fucking job.
If Erica Kirk wants to be like on the board of TPUSA and then they have a new leader for direction, that would probably be the smartest move. But right now, it's going like she's destroying TPUSA. It's going down to the shitter, in my opinion. Like it's like it's a joke and it's all her fault. But on a side note, we don't have to.
No, it's the fault of the person who killed Charlie. Like, let's be honest.
Well, I mean,
because who's going to take his place?
And well, if you really want to go down that
well, let's not.
Rabbit hole.
We can save the rabbit holes for later. Let's focus on
that
this.
Rabbit hole, like all I gotta say is, if you want a good laugh, everybody in the channel, you want a good laugh, start looking at what's her name? Oh, shoot, the girl, Candace Owens.
I hate her.
I know, but what she said yesterday, oh my God. Like, she's like,
it's fucking ridiculous.
She basically just said it's all Freemasons. Charlie Kirk was killed in a pentagram. There's 666. Like, I'm just saying, like, she's basically the conspiracy. Like, there's, in my eyes, there's two types of conspiracy theory people. There's the ones that, calling out like the Alex Jones where he's getting it.
Alex Jones is the one that said that Erica Kirk is pregnant with fucking
I know
Candace Owens' baby because she's a man.
I know. I'm just saying, like, there's the conspiracy theories that have come true. Like,
Do you think that one's gonna come true? Alex Jones said it.
I know. Not everything Alex Jones says is correct. But I'm just saying, I'm proving a point. Or you have the Candace Owens stuff where she's just like you're literally watching her going into
ridiculous
paranoia and psychopath.
Yeah, no, she's nuts. She's absolutely nuts. She needs to get the fuck off the internet and go raise her children.
No, she needs freaking Valium, man. Like
she needs to go be a mom. She's not she's a shitty mom. And she doesn't really care.
Yeah, and Asmongold is completely
sick.
I want you guys to all notice something with Candace Owens. If you see her with a ponytail, a very tight ponytail, prepared for the shit to go insane. Because anytime she's in a ponytail, that's when all hell is going to break loose. And Asmongold is 100% right. Like, if you see Candace Owens with her hair up in a ponytail, prepared for crazy shit to come out.
Yeah, I don't listen to her.
I know. But we don't need to go down that. That's a rabbit hole for another debate because she is just.
It's funny. My son, maybe 2 months ago, he's like, "Oh, have you been listening to Candace?" I'm like, "I don't listen to that crazy bitch." She's like, "Oh, she's got some good stuff to say." So he went down the Candace rabbit hole, and it took him a couple days. He's like, "Yeah, I can see what you mean." Little extreme there.
We don't need to go down that.
He got hooked for a second, though.
Yeah, well.
Yeah,
You have to show the crazy so he can learn from it. It's a good learning experience of knowing what crazy is.
Yeah, I hate to see how her kids are going to turn out.
Yep.
I have more hope for Erica's children. All right, shall we?
Yep.
Advice is to say, okay, you don't have problems, you are the problem. And my advice to you as a young man is to act more like a woman.
Wait. Pause that. I was waiting for you to hear that response. Listen to this again.
Yeah. He's saying this. This is the message from the left.
No, this is what he's saying too. Like,
No.
saying,
He said from the left, this is the message you're getting.
all right, well, like maybe I teased a little thing from later on, but you just wait.
Okay. Scott Galloway. Why does that name sound familiar?
Did you ever think you would make it? I feel I'm supposed I could taste sweet victory. I know this life meant for me.
Adam.
What's your point?
On the topic of men, fatherhood, and finance, I think everybody's got to listen to it. Of course, New York Times bestseller, done great work, made millions, very successful. I even think at one point you were was it a majority shareholder or New York Times or something about New York Times? You were sitting on the board. But anyways, incredible voice for young men. Professor Scott Galloway, great to have you on the podcast.
Patrick, thanks for the kind words, and I'm glad to be here.
Yes. So a question for you, if we can just get right into it, because I don't think we have enough voices of men that are good examples and challenging boys to become men. And I love seeing the stuff you say to you. I have 4 kids, 2 of them being 14-year-old and 12-year-old. And a lot of things you talk about were aligned when it comes down to men. But I want to read you 3 stats, and I'll get into a question. And then today I want to talk about fatherhood, boys to men, and finance. So 7 out of 10 high school valedictorians right now are girls. 20% of men 25 to 34 live with parents, up from 14% a decade ago. And 15% of young men have 0 close friends, 5 times higher than what it was in the 1990s. How much of a young man struggling today is them versus the system?
That's a thoughtful question. Let me just pile on with a couple more stats. 62% of men under the age of 30 are not even trying to date. 42% of men 18 to 24 have never asked a woman out in person. And the most frightening statistic is that if you go into a morgue and there's 5 people who have died by suicide, 4 are men. So, and if any other special interest group was killing themselves at 4 times the rate of the special interest or the control group, we would weigh in with programs. And one of the things that's really hurt this community and these efforts is there's a lack of empathy.
Did you say pause?
Did you hear how he caught himself? Rewind that real quick. Listen to what he said. This is what I'm trying to teach people on this. You got
yes.
You got to see the duplicitness in this. Okay, this is the bullshit that I had to deal with my college professors when they say something and they go, oh shit, I can't say that, and then they use different statistics to prove their point. So play this again.
From the beginning of him talking?
Just when he F's up about the suicide rate. Run it like 30 seconds.
That's a thoughtful question. Let me just pile on with a couple more stats. 62% of men under the age of 30 are not even trying to date. 42% of men 18 to 24 have never asked a woman out in person. And the most frightening statistic is that if you go into a morgue and there's 5 people who have died by suicide, 4 are men. So, and if any other special interest group was killing themselves at 4 times the rate of the special interest or the control group, we would weigh in with programs.
Special interest group.
If any other special interest group was having statistics like that, he said we would come in with.
No. Listen to what
4 are men.
Interest group. I mean women. So what he's saying.
No, he said any other special interest group.
No, he's saying special interest group. No, I mean women. So he's basically saying that we the girls are what we're trying to do. Oh, I mean the special interest group. So when you say a special interest group, that is what I want the meme to go to. You got to look at the politics and the way these people think.
He said if any other special interest group.
I mean women. And and then he quickly went to
women, black, gay. What are all the groups? The special interest groups besides men, because men get no special fucking interest.
But what he's trying to say is the special interest group is women. Women are the special interest group that we are trying to get society to go to. So, like, that's what I'm saying, the duplicitness. Like, if you understand statistics, when they say special interest group, that is basically politicians speak of saying, I want this group to be where we're trying to go. This is the special interest group. This is where I want to go. And basically what he's saying in a nutshell is, if this was women, this would be a national crisis.
Yes. If it was gay people, it would also be a crisis.
But it's men.
If out of the 5 people in the morgue that committed suicide, 4 of them were gay, that would be a crisis. 4 of them were women, that would be a crisis. Just because 4 of them are men, it is no crisis, because they are of no special interest to the tyrannical matriarchy.
Yeah, I wanted to really nail that point, because it is so devastating.
But he's pointing to that.
You're on his side now.
And if any other special interest group was killing themselves at 4 times the rate of the special interest or the control group, we would weigh in with programs. Mm-hmm.
If any other special interest group was killing themselves, we would weigh in with programs.
Yep. So far, it's good.
So far, I'm on his side, Bandit.
Yeah.
I like when he's spitting the facts.
One of the things that's really hurt this community and these efforts is there's a lack of empathy for this group because of what I think is a fair accusation or observation, and that is men of my generation have had a disproportionate amount of advantage.
See, I don't like that part.
No, he's right, though. He's basically saying that the boomers have taken all the wealth and not giving it to the next generation, and that's part of the reason.
He said the men of his age group.
He's a boomer.
Okay, so you're saying the male boomers.
No,
had a disproportionate level of privilege. Did you say?
No, observation, and that is men of my generation have had a disproportionate amount of advantage.
Advantage.
Yes, he'll go. Yes, but the advantage, the advantage is wealth. So the Nancy Pelosi's and that age group has not given their money to the next generation, and it's basically causing this bottleneck because by not selling your houses, not giving the stuff to the younger generations, you're basically part of the reason why we're having fertility crisis, because no woman wants a guy that can't afford to have. It's part of it, because
rich people share their wealth with their children, right?
Yes, but what he's saying is they're not doing that. All other generations would have passed the torch down to the younger generation. Boomers have not. They're the greedy bastards that have it.
Okay.
But we seem to be holding young men accountable for my advantage. Anyways, to your point, is it them or is it society? I think it's both. I would say the majority, it's a complex problem. There's biology at play here. A boy's prefrontal cortex is 18 months behind a girl's. You're going to see, you said you have 2 boys and 2 girls. Mm-hmm. You're going to have, I don't know if you've already had this moment, but you're going to have your 15 or 16-year-olds are going to have a party, and boys and girls will come over. And the boys are dopes. Can't you look you in the eye? They look like boys. And then there'll be 2 or 3 15 or 16-year-old girls who will come, who could be the junior senator from Pennsylvania. I mean, girls are just maturing faster than boys. And they're excelling, and good for them. They're ascending. I think it's wonderful. But the gap between boys and girls, if 2 seniors, a boy and a girl in high school, are applying to college, essentially the girl who's a senior is competing against a 10th grade girl. The boy biologically is 18 months behind the girl. There's economic issues. A lot of the traditional on-ramps into the middle class for boys who don't get a college degree. Do you remember that guy, Patrick, in high school, who was just never going to go to college, but he could fix your car, and he was going to get a job? There was auto shop, there was metal shop, there was wood shop.
Yes.
And primarily it was sort of vocational programming such that end up at University of Florida or Carnegie Mellon could still find an on-ramp into kind of the manufacturing sector. A lot of those jobs have been offshored, so there's fewer and fewer sort of on-ramps into the middle class economically. Also sociologically, I think if you spend enough time telling young men that they are the problem and that they're predators, they begin to believe you. And so, the way.
Do you think that's true? That they begin to believe the crazy bitch feminists that accuse them of being predators when they're the actual predators? When they're projecting on to these men,
Okay,
do you think
so-
they believe them?
I will say it this way. Let's put it this way. If you were called a Nazi, well, okay, well, I'm sorry, I'll rephrase it. If you're called Mustache Man from 3rd grade to high, and that's all you were told because you're just a white guy just chilling around, but it's because of the 1619 project, you're called a slave owner and a little mustache man enthusiast. Okay, at some point you're just going to say F it, and if you're going to call me one, I'm just going to be one. I'm not saying it's a good thing. I'm just saying if you're going to be calling me all this, I'm just going to be it, because I've been taught as a young age that because of my skin color I am that, so I'm going to be that. That's what he's getting at here. You keep calling me that, I'm just going to say fine, F it, I am that. And that's why you have to, like, if you look at, and I only know this because of my kids, you look at what the Gen Zers say. I thought I was a little spicy when I was 13 years old. Oh my, like, they're taking it to another level. And that's my whole point. They've been called that they're Nazis their whole entire lives. So they just embrace it now. That's what he's getting at. It's like, if you call me a Nazi enough, does the word mean anything anymore? And if the word doesn't mean anything anymore, I'm just going to embrace it. That's what's going on.
Okay. I don't know. Were Nazis predators, though? Really?
Out here, the far right, I would argue, and I'm curious to get your feedback here. To their credit, they recognized the problem before anybody else. They said, look, there's a problem with our young men. They're struggling, lack of empathy for them. But I would argue the solution was not the right solution, and that was to take non-whites and women back to the 50s. And I think a lot of people on the right have conflated or incorrectly correlated the ascent of women with the descent of men, and I don't think that's true.
Oh, that's a lie. That's a lie.
That's a complete lie, and it's real simple.
Yeah.
His biggest argument right here is saying that that it's not a zero-sum game, which is bullshit. It is a zero-sum game. There's a fixed number of jobs out there, okay? So if Mandy's competing for a job and I'm competing for a job, it's a zero-sum game. It's Mandy gets the job. Okay, Mandy in this scenario, Mandy represents all girls. I represent all guys. If Mandy gets the job, that means you're taking a job away from men.
Right?
If I get a job, you're taking the job away from a woman. It's a zero-sum game. Like,
right?
Like, this is the duplicitous bullshit. Like,
yeah,
it is a zero-sum game, and you need to realize it. Like, women are now competing with you for your livelihood, okay? And there's no love and there's no rules in love.
Well, and they get to step up, because do you know how many grants and scholarships and spots in academia are only open to women?
It's worse than that. You basically just incentivize, and this is my biggest gripe with fake accusations. You incentivize accusations. I can't beat you at a job because men will work harder. They will take more risks. They will spend more time on the job. You can't compete on those levels. So how do I, as a woman, how do I compete against a guy?
I know the environment I'm in right now, I can't.
But I mean, all it takes to compete with a girl that wants to play at that level, especially at the C-suite level, is it only takes one false accusation and your career is done.
Yeah.
I mean,
shit, at any level. At fucking any level, you can lose your job over some crazy bitch lying, which they constantly do, especially when they want your job
So when they this zero, this isn't a zero sum game. That's bullshit. If more women are getting jobs, that means there's less jobs available for men. Like, I don't like. Did this guy take an economics class? Like, there's a thing called supply and demand. You increase supply,
Right.
demand, and keep demand the same.
Yeah.
You're going to, I mean, I'm sorry, if you keep supply the same and increase demand, prices are going to go up. It's going to be harder to get a job.
Yeah.
It's not hard to understand this concept. We already
Well,
know.
and most of the new jobs that were actually created, especially by the government, were for women. they're kind of only jobs women would really want to do. And that's police people.
And you know, every male-centric job is basically in the shitter. So I mean, you hear all the time, women aren't going to date a plumber. Women aren't going to date an electrician. Women aren't going to date a contractor or a roofer. Because I need a person that works in the C-suite. Well, because I want the prestige. But that electrician is making, went to school probably for no more than $10,000 or had his training paid for because the demand's so much for the roles. Got his journeyman is probably making $75,000 within 2 years. In 5 years, he's making 100, and he can start his own business when he gets his master's in like 7 years. And then by year 10, he's probably pulling $150,000 to $250,000 a year with no debt.
The debt. Right.
And the thing is, he could build his house.
Right.
I mean, think about it. You have the connections. If you're an electrician, you know a plumber, you know a roofer, you know
a carpenter,
you know
a
drywaller.
Yep.
So you could pull. I mean, I know so many ones that they pull favors on, and they basically build houses for each other. You buy the land, I'll build the house, and then when I want to buy a house, I'll go help you build your house, and we'll just you pay the supplies, you get my labor for free, and then we'll work it out.
Yeah. Yeah. There's definitely more opportunity there.
Yeah,
but
it's great.
The far left hasn't been any more productive because their advice is to say, okay, you don't have problems, you are the problem. And my advice to you as a young man is to act more like a woman. That's not helpful either. I went to the Democratic National Convention. I know you're a conservative, I'm a progressive. And I saw a parade of special interest groups talking about the very real issues that still face special interest groups in the United States, but not one word about the group that has fallen furthest fastest in America, and that is young men. So it's a combination of economic, sociological, biological, political issues that have all converged to basically rob opportunity. And then the last comment I'll make on this is that our tax policy has effectively transferred wealth from young people to old people. The average 70-year-old is 72% wealthier than they were 40 years ago. The average person under the age of 40 is 24% less wealthy. Housing and education prices have skyrocketed. Those are the two primary means for getting ahead and for building economic security and finding a mate. And we've transferred wealth from young to old. The two biggest tax deductions, mortgage interest rate and capital gains. Who owns homes and stocks? People my age. Who rents and makes their money from salary? Young people. So we've had just a series of kind of moons line up that have robbed opportunity and dignity and cultural standing from our young people and especially our young men.
See, I like how he said that.
Yes, but it proves that the older generation does not want to give their wealth away. And you have to understand, most generations, once they hit retirement age, they gave their money to the boomers were the first generation to not do that, and it's been disastrous ever since.
Giving it to their kids? I mean, I don't.
Yes, because what happened before the boomers was you were getting into your elder years. We didn't have Social Security, so what happened was you moved in with your kids.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and while they worked, you were their babysitter.
Yeah.
Okay. and you helped the mothers out, and they took care of you. And what that meant is, I couldn't go as a father, I couldn't beat my son or my daughter, because guess what? When I could become old, what happens? I don't have a place to go. I'm just going to go die in the street. So like it all worked out in the end, because you had to treat your family with respect, because it's a circle.
Yeah.
Like, they raised you. And the thing is, when you have intergenerational parenting, what normally happens is the older generation is the most conservative, and you get more liberal as you go on. So if you have the oldest generation and the youngest generation being parents, you're seeing the full spectrum of how things used to be and how things are today. So you could have the education of, I see how my parents did it and how my grandparents did it, and take both those ways of doing it and be a moderate, and or see the full picture on how to raise things. Because there's different ways of skinning a cat, if you know the saying.
Yeah.
And if you raise with multiple different ways, that's more ammo in your, or I should say, more tools in your toolbox to solve issues. We don't get that today because of all this bullshit. So that's
some people get it. Whoever is choosing to do that.
Yes, but on a whole, we don't. Fathers aren't even in the household. How are you going to have intergenerational? I mean, that's a very.
It's harder, but it can be done, Bandit.
It can be done, but
might just take a little longer. Yeah, but you have to have that mindset.
Yeah.
Not like, oh, they turn 18, kick them out. So your family's paying double mortgage, double rent, double utilities, like fight or flight, or
double make
sink
dumb.
or swim or whatever.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, that doesn't seem right. I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me.
Agreed.
Incredible answer, and I want to go a little bit deeper into it, because I want to see what you're going to be saying about this, because you went into politics. You said the numbers that we saw, young men shifted 18 points towards Trump in 4 years. And when you look at these numbers, it's not like they were sold on Trump. The article says they felt alienated by Democrats. But a part of it also, if you think about it, I'm sure you remember the late Charlie Kirk. He played a very big role in talking about family, kids, faith. And these 16, 17, 18-year-olds are looking at saying, who would be my role model? So for you, I think you are a role model for young men. But if I was to ask you right now, Scott, who would you say is a young liberal role model for young men? Who would that be?
Oh, I don't know. I think they're everywhere. Representative Tallarico, a man who appreciates faith and family, but also what are traditionally seen as progressive values. I think there's symbols of good masculinity everywhere. Weird one. Chris Christopherson just passed away. Army captain, Rhodes Scholar, a poet, a great rock star, was known for being generous, married for 40 years, helicopter pilot. But more than anything, the roles of masculinity are next door. It's the guy who wakes up every morning who didn't dream of being.
He's a progressive. The two people he just named are basically one of the most progressive leaders out there. So they're not good, as we would say in our realm.
You said traditionally progressive.
They're not. I know. No, but those people, Rokana and all those people that he named, are hard left. They're not good role. They're not the role models that you think they are. They're the have to listen to women. Women are more important than men. There's a giant bait and switch. Do your research on those two, and you'll understand what I'm saying.
Masculinity are next door. It's the guy who wakes up every morning who didn't dream of being a mechanic, but every goddamn day gets up at dark 100 hours because he wants to support his family, and he takes a lot of blows, and he just kind of toils away in relative anonymity, but is very loyal to his wife, loyal to his kids, works hard, tries to stay in good shape, be a good citizen. You know, I think there's examples of masculinity everywhere. I think we lack, generally speaking, good public role models across both aisles. But where I find great examples of masculinity is in everyday men who are loyal, who are very patriotic, maybe have served, and find themselves trying to serve in the agency of other people and see their purpose as raising, you know, you have 4 kids. I don't know for you, what happened to me, I was very selfish for most of my life, and I finally found my purpose. My purpose is to raise loving, patriotic men. But I think there's examples of masculinity everywhere, but I would agree that there is a dearth of what I'll call public figures that demonstrate an aspirational form of masculinity.
That's interesting when you're saying that. I guess my question, the follow-up question for this would be...
Wait, Bandit, he said he was selfish and he found his purpose.
Purpose is to raise loving, patriotic men. But
so his purpose was to raise loving, patriotic men. Is that what he's talking about, like being a professor and doing that?
Yeah.
Does he have kids?
Yeah, he has kids.
Okay.
I think there's examples of masculinity everywhere, but I would agree that there is a dearth of what I'll call public figures that demonstrate an aspirational form of masculinity.
That's interesting when you're saying that. I guess my question, the follow-up question for this would be Jonathan Haidt, which I think you and him are either colleagues or friends, but you know, he wrote the book Anxious Generation Right. And I love that book. Anywhere I go, I recommend every parent to read that book. We were a couple years ago, I don't know when it was when it came out, probably 2 years ago or so. What's the timeline? Yeah, 2 years ago when it came out, exactly March 2 years ago when it came out. I had everybody read it. And one of the interviews he did, I'm curious to know your thoughts. The interviewer's asking him a question, and he's talking about how much anxiety young girls have, right? And he says, so which philosophies raise more peaceful kids, and which one raises kids with higher anxiety? Liberal parents or conservative parents? Without hesitation, Scott, he says conservative parents. And then he says, so then why are you a liberal? And he says, because I'm academia. I can't change my philosophy. So the guy's integrity, the way he answered, I respect the hell out of him. Why do you think even he says that conservatives raise more calm, lower anxiety kids than liberals do?
You know, it's a good question. I'm not sure I have a good answer for it. The 2 primary drivers, according to Jonathan and Jean Twenge, who did breakthrough research on this. And by the way, Jonathan's a friend and a scholar. He's probably the most consequential scholar in the world. And, you know, there's entire countries banning phones in schools because of Jonathan's work. But generally speaking, the 2 drivers they think of an increase in anxiety amongst our children are, one, some of it is our fault. When I say our, I mean parents, and that is what you call concierge or bulldozer parenting. And that is we use so many sanitary wipes on their lives that they don't develop their own immunities. And I struggle with this. I keep wanting to save my kids from themselves. And but I know my more rational self goes, let them fail, let them fall down. Otherwise, they're never going to learn to pick themselves up. Now, if you were looking for a thesis, you could argue that maybe progressive parents make too many excuses for their kids and think they're loving them and being more understanding, as opposed to being more kind of trad dads or letting them fail, if you will. Because what we see at NYU is we've seen an increase in self-harm because a lot of kids get there and it's sort of a Princess and the Pea syndrome where they haven't faced much adversity. Their parents have cleared out every obstacle, and then they get there and they get their heart broken or their first D, and they literally freak out because they haven't known any failure up until that point. So I guess the argument, if you were trying to bridge it, would be maybe more progressive parents, in an effort to do what they think is right, end up overprotecting their children and not preparing them for the real world. The second thing that appears to have driven anxiety is about the time social went on mobile, about 15 years ago, you saw a spike in depression and anxiety, especially among young girls. And the reality is we are every day up against this indomitable foe of the deepest pocketed, most talented organizations in history that are all trying to do one thing. and that is sequester you from the most meaningful thing in your life, and that is your relationships. And young men seem especially susceptible to believing that they can have a reasonable facsimile of life on a screen with an algorithm. Why go through the pecking order of friends when you can have Discord and Reddit? Why put on a tie, try and navigate the corporate world, which is difficult and hard, when you think you can make money trading crypto or stocks on Coinbase or Robinhood? And why on earth would you go through the pain, perseverance, rejection, showering, working out, the expense, the resilience of trying to find a romantic or a sexual partner when you have life like porn? So I think big tech plays a bigger role than progressive versus conservative parents. But I can see, if I trust Jonathan. One of the things I love about Jonathan, I would consider myself center left. I think Jonathan doesn't like to talk about politics, but I would consider him center right. But he has incredible fidelity to the data. So if he says that in general, conservative families are raising less anxious kids, I'm inclined to take him at his word.
Center right? Really? I remember when he expressed a little Trump derangement syndrome himself. I used to follow Jonathan very closely.
When you yourself a progressive, you can't be center left. That does not exist. Just like, would you call me center right?
You?
Yes. No, you would not.
I would call you fiscally conservative.
I'm also,
but a little socially progressive.
Me?
Yeah.
No, I'm
You just tried to defend a little nose ring, Bandit. Come on now.
No, I explained the difference between the nose ring and the stud in.
I don't mind a little stud in the nostril. That's socially progressive, sir.
Well, it's tough when you're in a state, man. We'll put it that way.
I know.
You
have to tolerate it because it's the majority of where you live. Yeah. No, I get it. No, you're definitely conservative. You've been conditioned progressive.
I'm the only conservative in my family, put it that way.
Yeah, and I think both of you guys are fair in where you're at. So I think the two voices, center left, center right, there's at least reason in there when you're having conversations. When it's the far left or the far right, that's when you're going to have some issues there that kind of pushes everybody away. But why does this topic matter to you so much? I'm curious, because to me, being a father matters to me a lot. And I love hearing other men who, you have two boys. I believe you have two boys. You're married. You got a family. You're doing your thing. Why does this topic of being a great father matter to you so much?
Well, I mean, so there was a moment, kind of the aha moment for me was a kid named Alex Kearns in fall of 2020 was trading stocks on Robinhood, sophomore at Oklahoma State. You see this kid, Patrick, and you just see your son. And he got an errant email from Robinhood saying he was down $60,000 and they needed to transfer $60,000. Of course, it ended up that was an errant email, was a mistake. And he furiously all night sent emails to customer service saying, I don't understand what's going on, because they don't have humans involved. No one got back to him. And in the morning, he took his own life because he left a note saying he didn't want to indebt his family.
Remember this.
And I started going down this rabbit hole of teen suicide and young men. And just the data was so incredibly stark. I thought, people aren't talking enough about this. This isn't young men. It was just so clear. We don't have a homeless or an opiate problem in the U.S. We have a male opiate and a male homeless problem. 3 out of 4 addicts are men. 3 out of 4 homeless are men. Mm-hmm. Men. We might have 2 to 1 female to male college graduates in the next 5 years. Mm-hmm. Only when you're walking down the Avenue of America, 1 in 3 of the men haven't had sex in the last year. And you hear the word sex and your brain fires a bunch of different ways. But if you think of sex as a key to the most important thing in life, and that is an intimate relationship with a partner, a lot of men just aren't having access to that. So I started going down this rabbit hole. I was really interested in it. I reached out to the Kearns family. And just on a personal level, I relate to it because I could have been one of those guys. I didn't have a lot of economic or romantic opportunities when I was a young man. And also, I was raised by a single immigrant mother who lived and died a secretary. And just, you'll relate to this as a as a dad, you start to see the difference between boys and girls. And also you see boys getting mixed messages. At universities, unfortunately, we've created this zeitgeist of oppressed versus oppressor. And I think it's gotten better because we realized at universities that it was damaging what we were doing. But one of the ways we immediately identified the shorthand for oppressor was how white and how male you were. And I think a lot of young men have started to get confused messages around mating, around their role in society. So as a dad, as someone who worries a lot about their sons, as someone who likes to think of themselves as willing to wade in dangerous waters, as being data-driven, and as someone who, quite frankly, just relates to young men who don't have a lot of opportunity at the moment, it just was something I got fascinated with. And I've been on sort of this 5-year journey. And what I'll say is that the dialogue, Patrick, has gotten so much more productive because when I first started talking about this,
he says it's 5-year journey. He's been hyper-focused on this specific thing for 5 years.
I do like some of his critiques, but he's also coming at this from a boomer lens. So understand.
Okay, boomer. We hate boomers. I forgot.
No, I just want you to be aware of it. I mean,
yeah, no, I get what he's saying though, but I'm following what he's saying, and
I'm like 80% where he's at. Maybe 80 or 90% I'm agreeing with, but
okay,
it's the 10% that
I'm waiting on that.
Yeah, that you'll see. Like what he's saying right now is 100% true. I have no complaints of what he's saying. That's why I've been keeping my mouth
Yeah,
shut.
the only thing so far was the advantage for white men in his age group. I guess he was constricting. I guess I'm unclear about the advantage because it's only not a huge percent of people in that age group in our country that have a lot of money. Most men in that age group, I don't think, have a lot of money. No, so he's blaming a small majority of people.
The majority of wealth in the country, about 60% of the wealth is held with people that are 60 on up.
Okay.
So it's an inverse bell curve. So, and what he's getting at is, if you're not passing the wealth down, like what we used to do in previous generations, what's happening is you're basically, and I'm using the proper word for this, you're retarding the growth of the younger generation. They can't buy a house. They can't have financial stability. And that's bleeding into why women aren't getting married, because there's no provision that they're looking for. So by this bottleneck of holding the wealth, you're basically killing the birth rate, because men don't have the access to the wealth like they used to, and that they don't have the access to the wealth. They don't have the financial security. If they don't have the financial security, no woman's going to want to marry them or have kids with them. So this is part of the fertility crisis.
Yeah,
that can be changed. Like you can fix this. I'm not saying we have to confiscate.
That's a piece of the puzzle, Bandit. I would argue that not the most important piece. We need to change the attitude of the man-hating, fear-mongered feminists.
Well, the only way to change that is you're gonna have to make men more desirable. And in understanding biology, if men become the provider again, that all goes away. That's what women have the men ain't shit attitude. I make more money than men. Why do I need a man? Because if that was fixed, then you would be back.
Yeah, but why are they wanting to make more money than men? Because they're already conditioned to believe that they can never trust a man, which part of it, and like that you have no security with a man, which part of that is actually true. There's a lot of women in our society that know that men have to work with women, and one false accusation could get their fucking husband fired.
Yes.
Like women, that's a real fear.
But and what do they do? I mean, what's the biggest shit test a man can do to a woman? Do you know what the biggest shit test a man can do to a woman?
What?
And the women normally fail this one. Go home and say, "Hey, hon, I just lost my job." You're dating somebody. Hey, I just lost my job. What's the percentage of women that are just going to abandon ship if you're dating?
I don't know.
Pretty damn high. If you're dating someone, yeah, if you really want to end the relationship and not have to deal with it, I'll just say I lost my job. I guarantee.
See, that's dumb. I mean, now if I lost my job and I'm not gonna get another one for like another year, like, and I'm not trying, that's a different story.
No, I'm saying like
to just lose your job, that's recoverable pretty quickly.
I understand that, but a lot of them are be like, I don't need to invest this person. This person's a loser now. They lost their job. I'm just saying, like, you know how you have men that do shit tests. There's the women shit test too.
Huh.
And I've been on sort of this 5-year journey, and what I'll say is that the dialogue, Patrick, has gotten so much more productive, because when I first started talking about this, if 5 years ago, if you brought up or in any way advocated for men, I was called Andrew Tate with an MBA, or they're like, "Oh, you're one of those guys," and there was an immediate gag reflex, especially from the left, that, "Oh, this is another guy who's going to blame women for men's problems." And I have never done that. I think we should celebrate our mothers, our sisters, and our daughters' progress. I think it's amazing. If women hadn't gone into the factories in World War II, we wouldn't have won the wars quickly. If we hadn't protected women's rights in the workplace in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, we'd be a second-rate economic power to China. We have benefited enormously from the progress of women, but it's not a zero-sum game. We can walk and chew gum at the same time and recognize that if our young men are flailing, our country and women aren't going to continue to flourish. And
but is it
when I
zero
speak to
sum
young
game?
women, who wants more economically?
I know, you just said it again.
Yeah, this is the 10%. He's there, but this is the little crap that it is a zero-sum game. If the market is getting more and more competitive, especially with AI taking jobs away.
Oh, yeah.
Education is going to be basically a master's degree is going to be basically a 2-year degree, because there's going to be so many people educated fighting for these high-paying limited jobs, because AI is going to take over middle management and everything else. If that's going to be the case and more girls are going to be educated, what do you see the future going to be looking like? If we're seeing 2 to 1 women to men are getting college and doing these jobs, okay? And there's no DEI for men. You notice that, like, it's not like there's going to be some college tuition for men, because that doesn't exist.
Right, there's no grants. Like, I have a friend who has a daughter that has a degree, but she's getting some special more schooling, and it's fully paid for because she's a woman.
and a lot of people don't understand this fact too. Not just the women have these degrees, they have the debt settled with the degree. So they're looking at a man as their basically bailout card. And if the men don't have these degrees that have a high paying job, you're going to have a smaller and smaller pool of men that women are going to be quote unquote attracted to. So it the more and more fiscally eccentric a woman is, the smaller and smaller base man she's going to find attractive, because she doesn't want an equal. We all know what a hypergamy is. I don't have to explain that to people.
Yes, women date across and up.
Yeah, so and it's fine. That's human nature. Like, women need to be protected for 9 months because they're having kids. I get it. It biologically it makes sense. I'm not
They need to be protected forever.
Yes, but what I'm getting at is, if society is based on the women's centric views of protecting and providing,
yes,
and take that providing function away from men, through government intervention and laws.
Yep.
Government intervention meaning Social Security and the government paying for divorce and everything. You basically took men's ability to function and their purpose away. It'd be like if women had a virus and the virus made every girl sterile.
Ooh.
Now that's the comparison here. If women found out that, I got COVID, we'll just play this scenario out. I got
Yeah.
COVID, and every woman that got COVID is now basically sterile, cannot have kids at all.
Right.
What would that do to the woman's psyche? That's what.
Well, I think the ones that abort their children, I think they'd be relieved because it would probably save them some time and depending on what state they live in, some driving, some distances.
Yeah. But a majority of women are going to feel less like a woman because they couldn't have kids. Not saying that the women that can't have
because they are less of women when they don't become mothers.
Yes, and I'm not saying like people have endometriosis and natural reasons why they can't have kids. Does that suck? Yes, and I'm not. There's people out of the equation.
Is it natural reasons or is it environmental? My belief, my money's on environment. Well, there's a lot of women that change their environments and their female reproductive problems tend to just go away.
But for the sake of argument, I'm gonna agree with you on that. I'm going to talk about the people that have genetic default problems when they were born, where they had to get a hysterectomy or their body didn't develop enough. Like there's reasons. Oh
yeah, no, they're devastated if they wanted to become
my whole
mothers.
Point is, those people are devastated that they can't have.
So are the women who put their family on hold for this career that the feminists said was the most important thing because you can't trust men, you can't.
Men ain't shit. You gotta make the bag, and
right.
And that's my whole point. What you're doing to men, and this is what I'm trying to play devil's advocate to show what would be for women, is you took their purpose away. That's what you're doing to men. That's why men have such a high suicide rate, because you're stealing their purpose away from them.
Stealing their protection and their provision.
Yeah, you basically weaponizing male biology is what you're really. I mean, at its core, you're weaponizing male biology to the negative. You're basically saying, okay, as a man, I feel like I have to, my purpose, not saying like I have to be a simp and I have to do what the women, like provide for the women, but my purpose is to be a provider. Throughout history, men are the providers, okay?
Do you think a lot of men find meaning in that?
Yes. It's probably not the answer they're going to admit to, but deep down they know it's true, because it's like it's the same kind of feeling like when you go and watch your son play a sport and they score. Yeah. What do you feel? You feel that pride of being mothers. I raised that goddamn kid, and look at him go.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the same feeling a guy feels, because my decisions, I'm the leader of the household, right? If we're being in a patriarchal structure, I'm the leader of the household. Mm-hmm. My fruits, my decisions are going to either sink or swim in this family. Okay. So by me providing and being a positive aspect to the family, I get to see those net results. I can't give birth.
Right.
Okay. Biology, I can't do that. But my birth in that sense is my fruit of my labor and the fruit of giving. It's in my eyes, it's the ultimate gift a guy could do for women. I'm sacrificing my time away from my family and everything else to work for a better goal of supporting the family, so my wife and my kids can have a good life. Like, we can't give in the sense that a woman can give in the sense of having a baby, but this is the closest we can get to that. It's providing something in return that's bigger than ourselves, sacrificing something bigger than ourselves for a noble. They can call me a simp as much as they want. I don't give a shit. This is what's been known throughout history when you look at it. Now,
Yeah.
am I saying if you believe in marriage, you probably call me a simp too, and that's fine. I don't give a shit. But if you are wanting to start a family, you have to come to the purpose that you know you're meeting a guy like to become one. So, you know, especially if you are religious, you know, the, I give to the woman, and the woman's job is to amplify what I give. Isn't that the
Yeah.
same? Like, you know, I give to the woman multiplies what my giving is. That's if you follow religious
So
nature.
I have a question. This is off topic. Do you think guys, because I heard somebody ask a question and it was a dude, something
Yeah.
about how do you find meaning? And my first thought was like, I don't know how to find it. I know how to create it, but
Oh,
do
see,
I know how to
there you
create it
go.
because I'm a woman? Like, and do
Yes.
guys
Yeah.
find it?
No. So women women legacy is creating.
Yeah.
Legacy is generational. So how do I give? As a man, I pass down my teachings, my beliefs, my morals, my fruits of my labor for multiple generations. That's my legacy. So
Mm.
like when you talk about legacy for a guy, okay, so when they're young, it's the shotgun approach. I'm spreading my seed. You know, what
Right.
kind of damage can I do?
Right.
All right. Then you
Buckshot.
get yeah, and then I mean, and then you get into your 30s and 40s, and it's like, okay, I got to settle down. So eventually, you settle down, and you're gonna have kids. Okay, so now my legacy is this is the first time a man has to give, not counting his wife, but first when you get married, that's the first time I have to not think about myself. There's a
Mm.
greater purpose. My purpose is now not just to me, it's to me and my family. It's to my wife and then to my kids. Okay. That's the order. It's wife, then kids, not kids, then wife. Okay. It's wife, then kids. Okay. So that's the first time in my life that I have to be put someone else above my own self-interest. And that's where the legacy starts. And then as you get older into your 60s, you're thinking about legacy as what can I pass down? It's going to be generational wealth. Can I pass my house down to the next generation? Can I pass my wealth down to my next generation? Can I join some kind of mentorship program where I could pass my beliefs down? Is it creating a legacy through trust where I can, do like a school fund, like the Jim Bob, charity, or the Jim Bob scholarship program, where my
Right.
legacy go past my own life.
Right.
That's the ultimate. Like, you talk to any millionaire or that has money, when they're talking legacy, they're talking they're talking about multi-generational giving. That could
Yeah.
be through family legacy, or it could be through public, but still the legacy is
So,
what I give.
but men, they have to find it, right? They don't make it.
Well, they do make it. They make it by working their lives at their jobs and being frugal with their money to have the wealth to give.
Mm.
The wealth is what you're giving, and what wealth is time.
Yeah.
So my labor is my gift, because the labor gives me wealth, and the wealth is what I get to and what my legacy is my decision making. So did I put my family into the position of being able to live live not just barely scraping by, but living through, that we had a good life, that we got to go on vacations, did we get to experience things that not everybody got to experience, we might not be able to hit every vacation ever wanted, but did we raise the kids the right way where they have good morals? Like, as a man that has kids, your biggest gift, since I can't is raising the kids.
Yeah.
Is their decision making. It is my beliefs getting raised with my kids. That's why it's such a heartache as a man when the girls go to college and then that they end up being, you know, going through their hoe phase.
Right. And start hating their dad.
They start hating their dad.
Yeah.
Who takes the bigger hit? Does the mother's disappointed, but the dad is devastated. And you wonder why is the dad devastated? Because his legacy is being literally destroyed.
Yeah, okay? Yeah.
So this is why guys get so angry. Like, why you see all these videos where like the dad's like, "You have an OnlyFans, you're dead to me," because you destroyed the guy's legacy.
Yeah.
This is what he spent. He spent 18 years raising you, assuming the dad's in his life, or we're not playing the absentee father, but we're playing the father's been in his life. He's done everything he possibly could to raise, took her to school, took her to church, did everything he could, and yet she basically said, "You know what? I'm just gonna go do an OnlyFans." And then you see these dads are just like, "You're dead to me."
Yeah,
that's the reason why.
I have friends that they had 2 boys and a girl, and they sent their boys to college, no problem. They sent their daughter to college. The first semester she got back, she was sitting at dinner with her mom and dad, and she started like puppeting the feminist dogma. And it's funny because her mom's Filipino, her dad's white, or no, she's Vietnamese. She's Vietnamese, and her dad's white. And she was talking about like racist white men in our society and blah blah blah. And I don't, for what reason, her mom jumped her ass. It was like, don't you ever fucking talk to your father like that. Do you not know you're half Vietnamese? Like, racist, really?
Yeah. But
that was the last time she opened her mouth with that puppetry around her parents.
Yeah, but to put a nail in it, that's what guys can give for a legacy is it's their time, their money, and what they can give, what they can pass down. Like we can't pass down the kid, but we can pass down their morals. That's why sports are so important to guys. Here, you want to know the honest truth? Why do men care about sports so much? Because it's such a competitive thing that so few people can actually do, and you're out competing everybody else, and you're saying it's not just the genetics that did it; it's the work ethic, it's the moral, it's everything is simplified by sports. And if done correctly, like you're not cheating, you're not doing all that. That's the highest way a guy can or a father can see that their son or daughter is competent, and not just competent, that they're exceeding in something. And that's why they're so proud. Like you see these fathers at like football games. It could be soccer. It could be even, we can even say like the play. It doesn't matter. If they go and see that their son or daughter is outperforming and crushing it in something, if you look at your spouse, they're going freaking nuts. They're it could be like, oh, a concert, what they're playing the freaking violin, but the parent is still, look at the guys. If you ever go to a concert, most of the fathers are beaming, smiling. That's my kid out there. Now it could be elementary school, and God forbid those concerts are terrible, because you know what I'm talking about.
Yes, I remember.
But the parents are, and the dads are going ballistic. They're all smiling. They all have their phones out videotaping. That's my son out there. That's my daughter out there. You know what I mean? Like, they're going nuts. And that's legacy.
Also, I asked somebody, because I never got baseball. To me, it's boring to watch. And I knew somebody that loved to watch it. And I asked him one time, I'm like, why do you like to watch this? And he was like, because when I was growing up, me and my dad used to play this. Like he has all those memories from his upbringing about his dad taking him to games. Like, that's why he today still watches it. Like,
yes, it's the bond. It's the bond that you create with playing t-ball or passing or just having a catch with your son. And that catch turned out to be he's now a professional baseball player, or even just say he tops in at high school. No big deal. You competed, and just by playing catch, I instilled some values in you, and then you took it to the next level. So it's almost like passing the torch. I'm going to give you the basic knowledge of how to do something, but man, you took it to the next level, and and there's no better example for a healthy father to see that they're exceeding more than you are. So if your son is not doing it better than you consider that as a failure.
Yeah.
So this is why kids feel so stressed out with like really successful parents, and they're not, because the parent feels like a failure if they're not as good or better than they are. Because the whole purpose of a father, like the reason, I mean, I could say this is how I'm raised, so I'm speaking, so we'll just go by what I'm saying. But and I had conversations with my dad about this. You want your son to be better than you.
Yeah.
If your son is better than you succeeded in life.
Yeah.
If your son has failed, the failure is on you.
Right.
And that's how I'll sum it up.
But they do need to fail and then fucking get back up.
Agreed.
That's the beautiful side. It's hard to watch them struggle and tumble, but watching them get back up is worth it.
Well, the thing is, I lack of a better term, I call it the noose method. I give you enough rope to hang yourself, and then pull you back in before you really pull a Danny Kerrigan, if you know what I'm saying. so
by the way, Woody Johnson said hi, and he called you simp. Hi, Tom. Good to see you.
Yeah, I don't care. I mean, if
Woody's talking shit,
I know
he wants family stew.
I know. Would just give me a hard time. It's fine.
He wants one with a burqa on, though.
Well,
soon, Woody. Soon.
Yeah, just go to Europe.
Get your burqa wife.
But in general, you want your kids to do better off than you, and that's legacy in itself too. Because that means I busted my ass, and now my woman is, or my woman or my kids are doing better than I am, and that's the best way. And I talked to like my parents, my grandparents, and my great grandparents. Okay, they all said the same thing. If my kids have a better life than I have, then I can die a happy man.
Yeah, that's winning.
And that's people born in 1913 all the way to today. So that's 4 generations of men in my family. That's the biggest thing they care about. If my kids did better than I did, then I lived a successful life.
It's funny how people can come from families that don't hold those ideals and still come to that conclusion.
Because legacy is universal.
Yeah.
Human nature is universal. All right. So, I mean, it's like you can try to reinvent the wheel, but the wheel is still the wheel. Yeah. Like you can't get away from biology as much as you want to.
Right. It is biological in your soul also. I believe that.
It would be like me telling you that, you know, it's like a feminist telling you, you know, having kids is the worst thing you possibly do.
I've heard feminists say that.
You should abort your
kid. With that attitude, your kids are going to suck. Because my kid's awesome.
Yeah. So, you want to continue the video?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, let's do that. Can I play it and go potty while it plays?
Sure. Or do you want? We can just wait. You can go potty. I'll just answer chat questions.
Okay. Okay, let's do that.
Yeah.
Tom says, "Our wheels have been more than 90-degree angles than ever before."
He's saying
wheels have even more 90-degree angles than ever before.
Basically, saying that they're square. They're not wheels. They're 90-degree angles would be a.
There's more spokes on the wheel.
No, he's saying that the wheels that they're not wheels. That they're square. They're rectangles. They're squares.
Oh.
Unless you want to explain it a little deeper. Unless I'm missing something. It is 11 o'clock. So.
It is.
Okay. Been up since 5, so give me a little.
Hey, me too. Me too.
I know.
Okay.
Right, I'll let you pee.
And entertain the chat for
Yeah, I can do that.
Oh, reinventing the wheel.
If anybody wants to reinventing the wheel, gotcha. Anybody wants to roast me, be my guest. Be my guest. I'll take it. Yeah, the ride would be terrible. You are completely right, Tom. Yes, the ride would be terrible. But just like anything, reinventing the wheel, like it's a funny thing. There's a couple tribes in Africa that just invented the wheel, and I'm not kidding you. There was a news article that came out like a year ago that this tribe in Africa figured out what the wheel was and was going ballistic. Like, this is the greatest invention ever, and we're just like, oh my god. So sometimes cultures, it's cyclical. Sometimes they got to reinvent. They actually have to rediscover things so they can get the full idea of what's going on. So, as much as we think life is linear, it might even be a circle. So does anybody have any questions about the video so far, or questions in general that I can help answer? Oh, I really wish I could find the article. And it wasn't a Babylon Bee article either, if anybody wanted to know. All right. But does anybody have any stories of legacy on the guy perspective? I guess Tom's the only one that's in the chat right now.
I have one.
Yeah.
Based on what I see, I go through this neighborhood periodically, and it's been 6 times I've been through this neighborhood. 3 of the times were around 4:00, 4:30 maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I can tell this dad just gets off work. And the first time I went, he was teaching his son how to back in a trailer.
Okay.
And the kid doesn't have a license. He's probably maybe 13, but he's teaching him how to back in a trailer. And I waited for a minute because I saw it and they were in the road, and I just waited, and he was like, oh, I'm sorry, and I'm like, no, you're good. Keep on, and he was guiding him. Okay, turn it more left, turn it more, teaching him. The second time I saw him do something, he had both his son and daughter outside, and they were training their dog. And he was like spending the time with them, teaching them how to train their puppy. And the third time it was just with the daughter. I forget what she was working. Like, she was like playing with something. I don't know. He was out there like putting together something for her, and she was like helping, and it was super cute.
Well, you know the trick with doing that, right? You
What?
put your hand on the bottom of the wheel when you're backing up.
Oh yeah, no, my dad taught me how to back up a trailer. Yeah.
I used to do that with my dad. The distance, you go with your hands. You say left, right. You point. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it was cute to see.
Mm-hmm.
That's meaningful, I think, that time. All right, shall we continue?
Yes.
Okay. So far, I'm on his side, Bandit.
Like I said, I agree with about 90% of what he says, but
Okay.
a hard no.
Emotionally viable young men, women. So we all have a vested interest in our youth.
I agree.
And our young men. It's not a zero-sum game.
No,
we can have empathy for everybody.
And I think it's a common sense message, that this is, which is great. But Scott, what was your relationship like with your father growing up? What was that like?
Well, I'll answer and then I'll put the question back to you. My dad was married and divorced 4 times as far as we know. My mom was his second marriage. He started his third marriage while married to my mom.
Wow.
Not a very sophisticated person. When they got divorced, he moved to Ohio. So he wasn't very involved in my life. Wasn't a bad father, never abused me. But wasn't as generous with his time and affection with me, and also made my life difficult because my mom and I struggled economically, and he could have been just a little bit more generous. He would have made our lives much easier. So my relationship with my father was pretty distant. And then as he got older, a big unlock for me, Patrick, was I said, okay, instead of having a scorecard and thinking, okay, he was this good or not good a father, that's how good or not good a son I'm going to be, I thought, I really enjoyed time with my father. I want to think of what kind of son do I want to be? I want to be a loving, generous son. So that's who I'm going to be. And I'm not going to put away the scorecard. And when I did that about 20, 30 years ago, it was a huge unlock for our relationship. And the learning and the advice I would give anyone is, instead of keeping score on your marriage, your friends, ask yourself, what kind of husband do you want to be? What kind of member of the congregation of your church do you want to be? What kind of business partner do you want to be? What kind of boss do you want to be? And just be that man and put away the scorecard, because you'll naturally inflate your contribution to the relationship and accidentally diminish theirs. And if you have a scorecard, you're always going to be upset or angry or feel like you're not getting the better end of the deal. So what the unlock I got from my father was just be the person in that relationship you envision and put away the scorecard. And that was a huge unlock for me and made my relationship with my father much more productive. What was your relationship like with your father, Patrick?
My dad and my parents got a divorce twice to each other. They married each other and divorced each other twice. So married, sisters born, divorce. Remarry, unborn, divorce. So in Iran, I would see my dad once a week. In Iran, the Friday was the Sunday here. So we had one day off. So I would hang out with my dad on Friday. Was the best day of the week for me. When we went to Germany at a refugee camp, I didn't see my dad for a year and a half. And I didn't have a male role model. Then we came to the States, I would see my dad once every other week. And then, of course, I joined the military. But he was my hero. Since I was 6 years old, I wanted to be him. The guy was a cashier at a 99-cent store, regular guy, 8th grade, dropped out to support his parents in Iran, came from a very, very loving family. I mean, these guys have each other's back, and it was very weird for him to get a divorce. But they had each other's back, his side. But, a part of this, Scott, for me is like, you know how you're coming, you're like, I wish he did this, and I wish this, and I wish that. How much of him do you see in you now where at what point maybe you were critical, and now you're like, you know what? He used to sell, and I learned how to sell, I think, from him. He used to. Is there anything that you look at now, the way you raise your boys, that maybe you picked up from him?
Well, okay, so a couple things. First off, it sounds like you had a strong male role model, even though maybe just logistically wasn't around as much. If you reverse engineer to the single point of failure when a boy comes off the tracks, it's to one point, and that's when he loses a male role model. When a boy loses a male role model through divorce, death, or abandonment, at that moment, he becomes more likely to be incarcerated than graduate from college. And what's interesting is that girls in single-parent homes have similar outcomes to girls in dual-parent homes. They're a little bit more promiscuous because they're looking for male attention in the wrong places, but they have the same rates of college attendance and the same income, same rates of self-harm. It ends up that while being physically stronger, boys are neurologically and emotionally much weaker than girls. So one thing we need to instill into our society is that the moment there's a divorce or a death, the community needs to weigh in, and the mother needs to recognize that boys need men in their lives. And even just saying that 5 years ago triggered people, especially on the left. What, women can't raise boys? No. Lie to my life, my mother. But boys need men in their lives. As it relates to my dad, the biggest lessons I took from my dad and around fathering, quite frankly, he tried. He checked an instinctive box around evolution, and that is he was a much better father to me than his father was to him. His father was alcoholic and actually abusive of him. My father was never abusive to me. So he checked the primary box. The thing I have taken away is my father was not physically affectionate with me. I have gone the exact opposite way. I kiss my boys. I read with them. I constantly hug them. Unfortunately, when my oldest turned 16, he no longer wanted me to let me hug him, but now he's come back a little bit. I try to be just physically affectionate. I tell my boys every day, and if I can't get a hold of them on the phone, I text them that I love them and I'm proud of them, and I try and give them a reason why, because I didn't hear that, and I realize how important it is. But on the flip side, I, like you, I make my living storytelling. And I make an exceptional living telling stories, finding data, creating a narrative arc, and then getting on podcasts or writing books or getting in front of a corporate audience. I do a lot of speaking gigs. And I got that from my father. It's through no fault of my own. I practice a lot because when you teach, you get a chance to, it's like being a comedian doing stand-up, you get to practice your stuff. I get to practice my stuff, or at least I used to, twice a week in front of 160 kids paying a lot of money vis-a-vis tuition. So I had incredible practice, but I think 51% of it I inherited from my father. My father could hold a room like no one's business.
Really?
Oh yeah, he's fantastic. Really
so he was
charming.
a great storyteller.
Yeah, and he had this Scottish accent. He was handsome, so that's why he probably was the reason why he was married 4 times and divorced 4 times. But there's no reason why you can't be grateful, even if your parents didn't intentionally give something to you. You know, I'm tall, I have broad shoulders, and I'm a decent storyteller, and all of those things I got from my father. So there's no reason I can't be grateful for those things.
I'm looking at a picture. I don't know if you see it or not. This is your Berkeley graduation. Can he see it, Rob, or no? Is it shared with him on his end? Oh, okay. So I see a picture of you in 1992, flashback, Berkeley graduation, dad in the background, big smile on his face. You got your smile with the whole, I wish you could see this here. What a cool picture this is. You posted it 27 weeks ago. You know, to me, my father showed up. I'm at boot camp at South Carolina. And they say, so, but David, who's going to come and visit you? I said, nobody. I don't have any family coming. They live in LA. They don't have the money to fly. So I'm upstairs in the barracks, and then a guy named Wiggins, he says, your dad is here. Come on, Bet David. I said, there's no way my dad is. I'm telling you, your dad is here. I said, my dad can't come. He says, there's a man with a sombrero on. He's downstairs. He's telling everybody he's your dad. I said, dude, he's not going to come. He told me he's not going to come down. I go downstairs, Scott. My dad drove 2,500 miles. He rented a car. They didn't ask him how many miles he was going to put on. He returned the car $24.99 a day with 5,000 additional miles. He was at graduation. It was priceless to see the guy there with me at the military. So the role is a very important role. Let me ask you a different question. I saw a stat the other day about birth rate. We used to be at 3.57 birth rate in 1950. We're now at 1.58. And as we got deeper into it, 3 times in the history of America, we went on a run of making 4 million babies a year. One time it was 5 years, another time was 7 years, another time was 11 years that we made 4 million babies every single year. And I think the biggest year ever was 4.3 million. And one of the stats that came up, and I'm curious what you think about this, is in 1950, where the birth rate was a higher birth rate, women in workforce was 35%. Mm-hmm. Today it's 70%. Mm-hmm. How much of an impact do you think that has made in raising kids, of women now competing with men, saying, I don't know if I need you. I can go make my own money. I don't need you. You know, I can make my own money. I'm an independent woman. There's no need for me to have a kid. I don't need to go out there and make kids. You know, women in 50s used to have kids at 20 years old. Now it's 28, 30 years old. How much you think it's getting women into the workforce that impacted what we have today?
Oh, it's complex. So first off, I don't think there's any doubt that if women are in the workforce and it's more difficult to, or they're not as focused, or their quote unquote purpose, they find purpose somewhere else other than having children, is going to result in lower birth rates. But I also don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. And I think corporations, the reality is men and women have largely
Did you hear what he said?
Equalized their.
Yeah, he said it's not necessarily a bad thing that women find other purpose elsewhere. I don't think he's taking into consideration that, they might think they found purpose now, but later on when they realize.
Well, no, he's also saying lower birth rates is not a bad thing. It is a bad thing because capitalism works like this, and I'm pretty sure everybody knows this. You need more people to buy shit in order for other people to make shit. It's a Ponzi scheme. If you have a negative growth rate, that means you can't make the same goods as you used to be able to make, and it's a death spiral. So if the population is decreasing and we're used to, being a certain number of products out there, if there's no one able to make the products anymore, then guess what? You're gonna have a point where, you know, the standard of living that you're used to is going to decrease, and that's what's going to happen when you're going to see when these people retire or die off, and you have less people being able to produce the same number of goods. You're going to see options go away. You're going to see standard of living going down because we're not going to be able to produce the things that we used to because our population is decreasing. Because with population decreasing, we're going to be moving away from general or specialists to generalists. We're going to have to do more things with the same number of people. So you're not going to specialize in, you know, doing something really, really well. And if that happens, that means stuff's going to get more and more expensive. Because if I can specialize in just making widget A, and I make that widget the best way I can make it the cheapest. I can do whatever I can to make that, because more competition is going to bring prices down. If there's less competition, prices is going to go up. We're going to have a shittier world with less people around. I'm telling you right now, it's not good.
Well, and we won't have enough young people to take care of our old people.
There you go.
I mean, not everybody's planned for that, but
Yeah, they don't think.
I know a couple women that have no clue. They're trying to figure out how they can save up for that nursing home.
And I don't know if you understand how Social Security works, but it takes people working to pay the benefits for the people coming out. It's a Ponzi scheme. If there's no people working, then how are you going to have the benefits? You're going to put money and you're going to have no money to pull out. Well, if widget A is not making widget A, then you can't have any money for your legal action. And guess what? Then you're just screwed. You don't get widget A to even use.
Women and men under the age of 30 in urban areas make about the same money now. Where you do see some impairment professionally is when women decide to have children. Now, the issue is, has women's ascent professionally resulted in lower birth rates? And I think the answer would be yes, but I think some of that is a good thing in the sense that women have leveled up economically and are no longer as dependent upon a man for their economic independence. Mm-hmm. And so they are demanding more from men. And they're demanding more, quite frankly, fewer women just feel trapped. Divorce rates have gone up, one, because I think my generation is more selfish and doesn't see marriage as a commitment, but an enhancement to their life. But also women have more economic freedom. And I do think that you asked before, how much of it is men's problems of society versus their own problems or their own issues. I do think men need to level up. I hate,
once again,
so just to your question, there's no doubt about it. Women's entry into the workforce and their economic independence has resulted in lower birth rates. But I think some of that is a positive. I think that women deciding that they have other options than just being tied to somebody and necessarily.
Andy, real quick.
I think women having more freedom around the choices they make is good, and that it's incumbent upon men. No one has the right to reproduce. Only 40% of men have reproduced throughout history. So if women have more economic independence and don't feel the same obligation to reproduce, I think that's probably a good thing, and it should be a motivator for young men to level up. There's a cartoon.
Pause it.
Yeah, I don't.
So this is
I'm not with him there. I'm not with that.
No, it makes sense because this is the reason why. If you're saying the men can, not everybody can level up. Like there's plateaus. There's stop losses in society. Not everybody can make $100,000. If everybody made $100,000, then $100,000 would be $50,000, like it is today. You know what I mean? If everybody made $100,000, that would be the new average. You know what I mean? By the standard itself, not everybody can do this. And the problem is, if it's only on the men, like you notice, like there's no leveling up for the women. It's just men need to step up. This is the whole boomer. Right. It's all men's fault. It's always men's fault. Like, are we equals, or like once again, where's the accountability on women?
Level
Like,
up for what though? I mean,
basically saying if you want, the reason why women aren't having babies is because men aren't leveling up. That's what he's saying.
I don't believe that at all. I don't believe that's why. I think a lot of women are afraid to have babies because they've been emotionally terrorized by the feminist cult to believe lies. Uh-oh, Bandit's in here again. Which one is Bandit? Oh, there's two.
I'm in stereo now. Okay.
Nice. Two Bandits.
Yeah, I got booted. I think it kicked me. So
You're still in here.
so weird. Well, I'm in stereo now. But yeah, that's the thing I don't understand. Like, so what he's saying in a nutshell is, women are doing better, so it's men just have to level up. Well, by definition, you can't level up, because if everybody leveled up, that would be the new leveling up. Like, do you see the flaw in the logic here?
Yeah.
If everybody in America made $100,000, that's now going to be $35,000, because the mean average for the average salary for a man right now is $34,000. That's the average U.S. salary.
34?
Yes, $34,000. Okay.
Crazy.
So, I mean, think about it. A family. The average family lives on $60,000. That's the truth. So, if everybody made $100,000 is now $34,000 now, and now all the price goes up, because if everybody's making $100,000, then everything's going to cost 2x the amount, because we were making 34 or 3x. Okay, so we're making 34, which is a third of, we'll just say a third of 100. Okay, easy numbers. So now everything's going to cost 3 times as much, because you have to pay $100,000, and now we're back to square one. So now $100,000 is equal to $34,000 like it used to be. So that's what I'm saying. Leveling up, it's a great concept, but he's really only speaking about the top earners. He's not speaking for the average person, because if the average guy, if on a whole,
right,
this is how averages work. If every man averaged leveled up, that's going to be the new standard.
Yeah,
so it's
and I don't see the motivation. Level up for what? For a group
to get a woman.
Of people that fucking hate them?
Yes, he's basically saying that there's no accountability on the woman. The women's doing better, but the guys are He's basically saying women are doing better, so men need to just man up and do better. Like, no, asshole.
Yeah, outcompete a woman in the realm of preferential treatment for fucking women.
Yeah, and it's not just that. If every man leveled up, then that would be the new average, and then that would just be the baseline, and then we got to average, and we got to. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. You let everybody levels up, and then that's the new standard, and then that's not good enough. So now we got to level up again. The leveling up is the problem. It's the women. The women need to have standards they need to stop having these bullshit high standards, and they need to go down to the mean average. If you're a 4, we'll put this in simpler terms. If you're a 4, and you demand a 7, that's set, and as a whole, that 7 is now going to be a 5, and that 4 is going to want the new 7, which was the old 9. Do you see how ridiculous this gets? This makes no sense. This is basically saying that men suck because it's their own fault. Take the women out of it. Women have no. He's basically saying women have no part of this equation. Men just need to do better.
That's what I've heard so far.
Yeah,
so far he hasn't put. I'm waiting for a little accountability towards the female side.
I'll give you a hint. You're never gonna get it.
Really? Oh, Is that what pissed you off about this thing?
Oh, yeah. Now you're understanding.
Okay. I would before you said that, I was already thinking, should I change the wolf talking to the dragon on the TV, and after hearing that, it's staying a fucking dragon. Sorry. I don't know if I could finish watching this though, Bandit. I am tired.
There's not much more. They're going to start BSing soon, but
okay.
I just find it
I want to hear some
frustrating.
female accountability.
Females have leveled up. Okay, we can all agree since 1970, women have more rights now. They can get credit cards.
They have way more preferential treatment.
Yes.
Yes, they can go into more debt. Yay. Yes, they can kill their fucking babies. I just saw this chart that was talking about all the people killed in war since
that one.
Yeah, and how women have killed more babies than people have died in war.
Yes. So everybody they did a study since we've studied war, about 1 billion people have died from war. From like Mesopotamia, we'll just say Mesopotamia, Babylon era to today, 1 billion people have died. Since 1970 to today, 3.4 billion abortions have happened on the planet.
Dude,
it's not even close.
Wasn't it like 1/3 of Gen Z was fucking aborted?
It's something stupid like that. Yeah, it's insane.
That's insane.
But this is what I was talking.
No. See, there's where the accountability to women lies. These women that are killing babies aren't fucking mothers. Like, they obviously wouldn't be good ones. So they're kind of doing society a solid by doing that and not fucking up the younger generation. What was it? 1/3 of Gen Z is pro-patriarchy? Yeah. Well, then we know we got at least 1/3 of decent mothers in our society who didn't kill their son's fucking confidence raising him.
It doesn't have to be. It could be as simple as I've seen what my liberal mother is and how she treated my father, and I'm going to be doing the exact opposite. See, that's the other thing no one talks about.
It could be that, but
I think it's a majority of that, because if you look at, remember, Gen Z is being, their parents are millennials, which are mostly lefty.
Right.
So they're seeing the divorce raping that their fathers are going through and how their mothers are freaking insane. Okay. Mm-hmm. And they're going, oh, hell no. If I'm going to put up with this, I'm going full patriarchy, because I am not going to be my father.
I don't know. It could be that. I tend to believe that if a crazy bitch man-hating woman was raising a son, that son would not have the confidence. Like, going back to what he said in the beginning, like, you tell somebody they're a piece of shit long enough and they're going to believe it. Like, those kids that are those young men that are pro-patriarchy, they still have confidence.
But
in them.
But you got to understand, a lot of those kids also have seen that their fathers gotten destroyed, been divorced, raped.
Yeah,
and
maybe.
And you learn a lot more lessons through failure than success. Your mother could tell you something, but if you see how your father is basically a shell of his former self because of what happened to him, you're going to be like, F that. I am going, if she is not going to be. That's
totally true too.
If she is not going to be, if she's not going to follow the way I want to be, the patriarchal system, I am not going to be divorce raped like him. That's the pushback. And that's what we're seeing, in my opinion. I could be wrong. I'll admit to it. I could be completely wrong here, but.
Well, we need to ask some Gen Z pro-patriarchs. That's why I'm hoping to have a chat with Rex. I think he's 19, and he's super red and black pilled.
Good. I would love to come up with him. We can have a nice chat, because I think that would be good to have multiple different generations on, and we can teach each other and learn from each other. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'm always down for that. But finish up. I know you're getting tired, so we'll finish this up.
Okay.
But this is the part where I started losing it, because this is where the boomer, like, pull by your bootstraps. Men just gotta just push up. It's like, no, you don't know. And you're a math guy.
Push
You
up
should know
for
how- you
what?
should know what
Push
mean
up
average
for what?
because the men got to do better for the women. And it's like, this guy is a professor of
The women
math.
have to give men a reason to, right?
Yes.
Like,
Yeah. And this guy went to school for business and math. He should know what a mean average is. This is why I'm mad. Sorry. Go ahead.
This is where I think, I disagree with some of Charlie Kirk's philosophies. And that is, there's this cartoon of a woman in her 30s who never found romantic love. She pursued a career. Now she's alone and depressed. Okay. There's probably some examples of that. A woman said, I was totally focused on my career. I didn't spend enough time trying to find a mate. And I missed out on a family and I'm really bummed out about it. Let's just be honest. I think that happens. At the same time, when women don't have a relationship, a romantic relationship, they tend to pour that additional relationship energy into their work and into their friend network.
Yep.
When a dude doesn't have a relationship, he oftentimes pours that energy into video games, conspiracy theory, and porn. It ends up that men need relationships more than women.
Argument. Once again, we can never escape it.
Are happier after their husband.
This is like saying, "Oh, because I play Call of Duty, I'm going to shoot up a school." This is some boomer shit right now. Oh my god! Like, come on, man. This is so tired. This is such a tiring argument. It gets me because this is like dulling down the situation. This is where I'm like completely getting pissed off about this.
I hear you getting worked up, Bandit.
Because this is where you were.
But he's right about women, how they pour their energy into work and their network of friends.
No, but this is also where it's like, remember I told you the bait and switch stuff. This is where you, as a professor, you look at the data, you success the data, you see the rationale behind the data, but your solution to the issue is some bullshit, lefty bullshit. You know what I mean? Like you can't help yourself. This is where it's like, you had me until you come up with a solution. You diagnosed the problem. Well, I mean, take the scientific method. We looked at the data. We assessed the data. We data tested the data. And now I'm up to the last stage where I have the solution. And the solution is just went off the deep end. I can't help myself. And
the manual.
So what?
He said the vast majority of OnlyFans users are married men. That alone destroys his point about men.
Yeah. I mean, and it's like, this is the kind of shit that it just gets me so wound up, because it's like, you're so close. You had the solution right there, but your methodology just couldn't get you there. And then you come up with, well, just blame the men, or, oh, the solution is, men just got to do better. Oh my God. Or you got to pull up your bootstraps. You just got to get that better job, but there's no jobs out there. We just do better. When I went to college, it only cost me a year's salary, and I got a degree. Well, I guess what? That same salary ain't getting you bullshit. It's not the housing prices are 2 times earnings. Like, those times are in the past. Like, you don't have the data. You don't have your solution's bullshit. And this is where I'm sorry?
Super out of touch.
Yeah.
He said he has 2 sons. What? How old were they? Did he say?
I think they were low teens and upper teens. I think it said like 13 and 17 or 18.
Okay, so he still has some time before one of them goes MGTOW.
Oh, he ain't gonna be able to handle it. Yeah, when they start, I mean, not even MGTOW. Say they do the opposite. One of his sons gets like date rape, or like accused of being date raped or something like that, and he goes complete black pill.
Loses his college scholarship.
Yeah, and decides to go full black pill. We'll see what his result's going to be after that. But my whole point is this is like, I wanted to show you this because it's like, this is a prime example of bait and switch. And this is what college professors do all the time. So please study this. You need to understand, they see all the evidence. They know where this evidence is, but my dogma cannot give me the solution. My dogma has to say, men just do better. Like, so this is the manipulation. This is where they agree with you on everything, but the solution, the most damn near important part of the whole thing as a scientist or as an educator, the whole purpose of this is to get to the solution. How can I fix this issue? And it's the tired same bullshit that hasn't worked in 60 years or trying to get you back into progressive footing. This is where his politics and everything else goes in. And this is where you lose half the younger audience. This is where you look at the chat. You could see this is like we are agreeing, like you were saying. I'm agreeing with everything this guy's saying, and then the solution is work harder. It's like, no, asshole. That's like
right. I'm wondering though, Bandit. I'm wondering how much of it is a man's proclivity to focus on what they can fix, like.
No, this is...
Hold on. Black Wolf used to say if men can't fix something, they'll just replace it. And he just pointed out porn and video games.
Yeah.
Like,
well,
that's what a lot of the men are doing.
Yeah. Well, the other thing is you're also looking at, you have to also understand that if you're college educated and you're a professor and everything and you're making good money, you're completely isolated from the common man. This is literally... This is like so the true. Emperor with no clothes. This is literally like I'm in my castle on the top of the mountain, and you're the average person. Like these people don't know what it's like to live in average household. This guy's made $50 million. Okay, this guy is filthy rich. He's in the top 1% of the population, money.
Well, and he's gonna pass on his wealth to his two sons, and then
they're gonna blow it.
The crazy bitches they hook up with or get baby trapped by are going to take half of it.
Yeah. That's the part that gets me so angry. These guys they see the problem, but they're so out of touch.
Hopefully he's helping his sons identify and stay the fuck away from crazy women.
Nope, it's the opposite. You'll see. You'll see. He still has... I'll ruin it for you.
Ruin it for me.
Okay. He's going to say at the end, my sons, when they go on a date, they have to pay for the date. That's the only way they can do it. And it's just this tired boomer bullshit. If women are equal, if women are equal now, he
was saying now, so that is contradictory to what he's pushing with his progressiveness.
Well, I know, but you're going to know.
Hold on, maybe because he already said he wants his sons to do better than he did.
Yes, but they're not. And the thing is, to be a top 1%, it's the drive. Like it's internal factors more than external factors. Like I could give you the best education possible. I could be your mentor. I could tell you, I could basically show you how the game's played, but if you don't have that internal drive to push, doesn't matter how much you know or what kind of wealth you have, you're gonna fall and collapse. That's why you always see these rich kids end up blowing the wealth.
Oh yeah, becoming drug addicts.
Because
they're trust fund babies.
Because they never were poor, or they never knew how to save, or they don't have the skills to be the leader, to be the wealthy person. And that's the same example of what I'm trying to show with this example. He had everything. He's a college professor. He had everything. He had everything correct except for the end. And then this is when the politics and bullshit comes in. So let's finish this so you can go to bed. But there's only like 5 to 10 minutes left, and that's it. So
okay, let's do it.
You're just gonna lose your mind right now.
No, there's 30 minutes left.
Yeah, but the last 15 is them bullshitting.
Okay, there's 45 minutes then.
Dies. Widowers are less happy. A woman in a relationship does live longer. She lives 2 years longer. But a man in a relationship lives 4 to 7 years longer. It ends up that men need relationships more than women. And something I've said that upsets people on the left, and what I tell my boys, I think men should pay for everything in the company of women. And people say, my 18-year-old's like, Dad, that's so boomer. I'm like, look, a woman's fertility window is shorter. Men benefit more from relationships than women. The downside of sex is greater for her than it is for you. And if you're on a date, you're in the back of your mind hoping maybe at some point you'll have sex. Mm-hmm. So the asymmetry in risk value of the relationship, her fertility window, means that there's asymmetry. And every mammal has a courtship process. And when you're dating, you're courting, and you want to demonstrate valor. And one way you demonstrate valor and recognize the asymmetry is that you pay for everything. And if you can't pay for everything, you don't go out and you don't go on the date.
Oh, there we go.
And I've gotten pushback from the
You
left.
just
That's
said
a
it.
boomer.
You freaking
And
just said it. If you can't pay for it, you can't go on dates. So the average man, because he's speaking to the wealth here, the average man can't go out on dates because they can't afford it, because they don't make any money. And if women are taking, like he was saying in the beginning, if women are taking more and more of the higher paying jobs, how the hell am I going to be able to go on dates if I don't have a job because the women have all the high paying jobs? Like, does he not understand he just contradicted his last 40 minutes of conversation with that statement? If women are taking 2/3 of all college jobs, they're going to have all the jobs. How the hell are men going to pay for the date if they don't have the jobs? Make it make sense to me. Am I wrong? Am I wrong?
I mean, I don't think the date has to be expensive.
Bless your heart, Mandy. Bless your heart.
I'm just saying.
But you understand why I'm getting frustrated now, because
I
do.
Because in your mind, you're like thinking of all the crazy bitch dates that they want, and it's hundreds of dollars for one night.
He literally explained that 2/3 of women are college educated now, and they're going to be the breadwinners. And then he's saying in the same breath, men have to pay for the dates. With what freaking money if they don't have the jobs? If they don't have the jobs, how are they going to go on the dates? And if you don't have a date, you shouldn't be going on a date. So what he's trying to tell you is, because you got to put in the context that this guy's rich, is my sons are rich. They can afford to go on dates. So they're going to have all the women because my sons are going to use their wealth as their
money
as their competitive advantage to get a woman. They're going to simp the women because they're going to be able to afford it, and they can throw flashy money at these girls, and these girls are going to go on dates with them because they got money. But your poor average son or daughter or son isn't going to be able to get a job because women took all the jobs away because they're not going to college. See what I'm getting at? Like, you're literally speaking out of both sides of your mouth, and then you wonder why men look at you and go, "You're so disconnected between the average man," because you just contradicted yourself. Men pick up on contradictions more than women do. I bet you if you look at all the guys in the chat right now, they probably just lost all respect for this guy, because this guy literally spent 40 minutes speaking one thing and then just destroyed his argument in the last 5 minutes. He just did a 180. Yeah, Fang says it right. He's a male feminist, 100%.
Yeah, I'm keeping the not because he said men should pay, but because he refuses to hold women accountable.
Yep.
I said to my son when he says, "Dad, that's not true," I'm like, just keep in mind, any woman you split the check with is never going to kiss you. Let me just say that. That's just real. So while I do agree that in the U.S., if you look at us demographically, we're actually not as screwed as many other nations because of immigrants and because there are certain populations that are having kids. We demographically look challenged, but not, in South Korea, it's like 1 out of 17 people are going to have a grandkid. There are some places that are really
Sexless
demographically.
society. Yeah, we keep hearing about the whole sexless society concept. When we set out to create a shoe that
That's
blends comfort, function, and
I think the notion that women going into the workplace has resulted in a lot of unhappy women and a decline in birth rates, there's a kernel of truth there. But I also think women getting economic independence has, for the most part, been a good thing for them.
Mm-hmm.
As somebody who came from a family
I don't think so. Only based on as someone who came from a family where my dad didn't economically support my mom enough. Only if she had a better job. Hold on.
My mom not being economically independent, but being independent, in other words, we didn't have anyone else to rely on, was a huge source of stress. So I would never tell a woman, discourage women for pursuing economic independence. For me, the big message is that as women ascend, it's a challenge to men to level up. And the movement I hate, and as somebody who came from a family where my mom not being economically independent, but being independent, in other words, we didn't have anyone else to rely on, was a huge source of stress. So
What's the difference?
So basically he's saying, because I was raised poor, I'm never gonna be poor again, and it's my duty to simp for women. And
Because my mom was poor when I was a kid.
there you go. That, I mean,
Okay, I'm getting it.
womp womp.
Womp womp.
I would never tell a woman, discourage women for pursuing economic independence. For me, the big
accountability
message
for
is that
women.
So he said economic independence being
Yes.
a good thing, but he said independence not good because she had nobody else to rely on.
And the thing is, he's basically saying, in a nutshell, men hold all the this is slavery, and I'll explain why it's slavery. When you have
no
all
authority
the responsibility and
and
none
no
of the
authority.
accountability, that is the definition of slavery. So
Yeah.
you men to be slaves and women to just, we're in the girl boss phase. This guy is such a freaking simp. And
as women ascend, it's a challenge to men to level up. And the movement I hate, and I'd love to put this back to you, Patrick, I hate the incel movement. And that is, there's this movement that says, okay, women aren't interested in men. 80% of women want 20% of the men. I give up. And it's like a badge of honor to say I'm involuntarily celibate. Well, okay. I was involuntarily celibate the first 19 years of my life. I wanted to be uncelibate in high school, but no one would participate in my plan.
Yeah.
And 99% of men, for 99% of history, have been involuntarily celibate. There are a few men who wouldn't rather be having sex right now than whatever it is they're doing.
They have issues, but I get it.
Right, something.
Yeah.
So I leveled up. I started working out. I took Accutane. I went to UCLA. I made friends with girls such that I could learn what women wanted. They could introduce me to their friends. And what I coach a lot of young men, I have something called the rule of threes. And that is, if you work out 3+ times a week, if you work at least 30 hours a week outside of the house, and at least 3 times a month, you're in the company of others in the agency of something bigger than you, whether it's church, temple, a nonprofit, a sports league, you are immediately in the top 5% of men. What does that mean? If you are in the top 5% of young men for long enough, you are going to be voluntarily incelibate, which is awesome. So what I would argue is that the vast majority of men who claim they're incels aren't incels.
This is his 3-step program to get a girl. Okay, listen to his 3-step program. Rewind it 5 seconds. Sorry, this is so important. And then we can probably end it after this one, because this is where you're gonna lose your mind.
Whether it's church, temple, UCLA, I made friends with girls such that I could learn what women wanted. They could introduce me to their friends. And what I coach a lot of young men, I have something called the rule of threes. And that is, if you work out 3+ times a week, if you work at least 30 hours a week outside of the house, and at least 3 times a month, you're in the company of others in the agency of something bigger than you, whether it's church, temple, a nonprofit, a sports league.
Okay, so work out 3 times a week, work at least 30 outside the house. So working 30 hours a week, and then 3 times a month you spend doing something in the service industry.
Okay,
right?
So
or communion.
Giving back community. So basically, I'll sum this up.
What's wrong with that? But hold on, what's wrong with that, Bandit?
I'll explain why. So you're telling me if I had a part-time job, went to Planet Fitness, and went to church, I'm guaranteed to have a girlfriend.
He didn't say girlfriend. He said sex.
Oh, do you think a part-time job, going to the gym 3 times a week, and going to church is going to get me sex?
Well, he did say he did.
No. I mean,
he did say at least, or he made friends with girls so he could network and they could introduce him to their friends. So he's talking about a time investment into relationships that would ultimately benefit him into broadening his connections and his opportunities.
But he's saying that that's going to get him a mate. So a part-time job.
He was just talking about sex.
That's not going to get you sex. I'm telling you. Okay, the gym probably. If you, I mean,
especially if you go to Planet Fitness, I'm sure you could find sex.
I know, but you're saying a part-time job and going to church. I'm sorry, the girls at church are not going to just start putting out radio. Like that's not how that works. Like
there's lots of whores in church.
Unless you're going to go to the ex-porn stars that found themselves. Maybe that route you probably could, but I'm just like that's his that's his $100 plan on getting his $100 course of getting you laid. A part-time job, Planet Fitness, and going to church. I'm sorry, that's asinine. Well, I'm real quick, chat. What do you think about that? Part-time job, Planet Fitness, going to church equals
work out. He didn't say Planet Fitness.
Well, I'm dumbing this down. I'm really
okay.
Okay, going to the gym for 3. Okay, so
church, nonprofit, and sports leagues are still gynocentric because it works at the expense of men to benefit society. Manuel said, "I refuse to be society's workhorse while being paid the same as a woman. Terrible deal."
Yeah, yeah. Like I said, James is realizing all the responsibility. And
Johnny's gonna stay home and eat Cocoa Pebbles, Bandit, for 500.
Sounds good. You just won 500 points. Thanks for playing, Alex. But
Johnny.
Yeah, no, I'm saying Alex. Like Alex.
You're Alex Trebek.
Yeah, I'm not Ken. F that guy. But but it's just this is the boomer. Like I said, I knew you were gonna love the first part and just lose your mind after this part.
Yeah, he love bombed me in the beginning to get me all excited about what he was saying, and then he fucking slipped in the feminist dogma.
Yep.
I don't know.
Okay, a couple more minutes and we can go. But yeah, this is the part where I kind of wanted your viewpoints on. Okay, yeah. Picture yourself, 19-year-old Mandy. Okay, or I'll be even better. 22-year-old Mandy, right out of college. Okay. So you're telling me, okay?
My child was 1 at 22, Bandit. I got married young and started having babies.
I understand that, but picture yourself at 22. Okay.
Well, he's right about the gym.
He's right about the gym, but
I would never date a fat man.
Are you going to settle for a guy with a part-time job at 22?
Well, he said at least 30 hours a week.
That's a part-time job. 32 hours is part-time. Full-time is 40. So 30 hours is 10. When someone says 30 hours, that's part-time work. That's the definition of part-time work.
But that's looking for a future mate. I'm sure you can get some kind of whore to fucking bed for a night. You just buy her a couple drinks.
I mean, I could dish out $500 and get a whore. That's not irrelevant.
See, it doesn't even cost that much for a whore. You could afford one on your part-time job.
Okay. I see what you're getting at. Yes, I see that point. All I'm trying to tell you is like his success for a man to getting laid is part-time, which if under his idea you can't pay for dates on a part-time income and still live and be able to.
I don't think any young man should ever be working 30 hours. It should be at least 60.
That's my point. But that's what I'm saying. If you're working 30 hours, you're barely surviving on yourself. And what did he just say? This is why I'm destroying his argument. He said, if you can't afford to take a girl out, you shouldn't go on a date. Yet at the same time, he's saying, in order to get laid, I have to work 30 hours. So a part-time job.
I think he's ultimately saying that men should not expect sex for free from women. That's what porn is for. And men that are happy with free sex, they go for free porn or cheap sex, they'll go for like OnlyFans or something, you know.
I agreed, but I'm just trying.
But
I'm
he's
trying to
also
control-
saying, he's also setting his kids up like, if you don't pay for anything, she's not gonna. If you don't pay for everything, you're not even gonna get to first base. So it's kind of like, pay for everything, then that gives you leverage, and it's gonna make the girl feel more obligated to put out.
Mm-hmm. Agreed, that's manipulate. That's horrible. I mean, do you have daughters? Like, I got a daughter. This is not what I'm trying to. This is not what I'm going to tell my daughter. Like, okay, the guy's going to pay for a date. You're going to have to. No, I'm not even going to go down that road because it's going to make me disgusted. But
you're not going to teach your daughter that men need to pay for everything.
No,
they're going to be obligated.
No, the sex part. Like, oh, if you're gonna. He brought you dinner, so you're gonna have to do something in return. Like, no, like, and then you wonder why women are so transactional. This is the definition of making transactional women. Instead of saying I want to have sex with you because I find you attractive and I feel like I can build a relationship with you, this is pay for everything and then I get sex. This is no different than a pickup artist. What's the difference?
It's kind of pickup artistry, yeah.
What's the difference? This is insane.
I don't know.
All right, we can finish it. Sorry, we'll go a little further and then we can end it. But
okay,
I'm getting
manipulation.
My heart rate's going through.
You are immediately in the top 5% of men. What does that mean? If you are in the top 5% of young men for long enough, you are going to be voluntarily incelibate, which is awesome.
Stop real quick.
So what I would argue is that the vast majority of men.
No, top 5% of young men. I think he's talking like young men. Okay, you're going to school, and then have another 30 hours a week that you're actually making money.
No, he said the top 5% of young men working 30 hours a week, going to the gym and going to church. That's the top 5%. That's bullshit. That's not how
young men.
Yeah, you telling me young men aren't doing 60 hours, barely scraping by? The average man, not the guy that his father got him into a nice job and he's making $80,000 right out of college. I'm talking the guy that's busting his ass. He's starting in the mailroom, working his way up. He's doing 60 hours a week, barely scraping by, looking at the women that around him getting flown to whatever country to get their backs blown out and getting free cruises and stuff, and he's busting 60 hours a week, and you're telling me I can work a part-time job and I'm in the top 5% of men? That's bullshit. That is utter bullshit. Every man in this chat is going to want to murder this guy because they know that's bullshit. That is such bullshit. Murder metaphorically, like disable his arguments.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I shouldn't be saying those kind of words, especially in this climate. But this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Claim they're incels aren't incels. They're V-cells. They're voluntarily celibate, and that is, it is up to them to level up. So while I think there's a lot of obstacles facing men, they have more agency than the majority of men throughout history. Only 40% of men have reproduced. In America, it's now 75%. So you have more agency than most men throughout history. So for most men claiming to be in.
Wait, so only 40% throughout history, and now it's 75% of men reproduce?
No, that's not the case. No, that hasn't changed. It's only about 40%.
What did he say 75% for? Hold on, back it up.
Cells is like, boss, this history only it is up to them to level up. So while I think there's a lot of obstacles facing men, they have more agency than the majority of men throughout history. Only 40% of men have reproduced. In America, it's now 75%. So you have more agency.
You just said it's now 75%.
Now, I would argue, what does he mean by reproduce? Because
is he counting all the abortions? Maybe.
But that's you nailed it.
I mean, technically, they did reproduce, whether or not the mother, allowed
it or not.
His child to live or not. It's a different.
Yeah, exactly.
Story.
That was my point. You beat me to it.
Yeah. Yeah, because that seems high, 75%.
Yeah, I mean, unless there's so much like abortions happening, which is possible.
Well, we know there's a lot of abortions happening.
Yeah. If there's, I mean, maybe that's his little cheat code, because I don't see those numbers, because if 75% of the population was having kids, like we would have such a teacher shortage right now, but they're closing schools because there's not enough kids to teach, which is
Shit, they're building schools in my area.
my area. They're shutting, like,
there's rezoning happening all the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, Philly just closed 13 schools because they don't have enough kids to.
Jeez.
Philly went from 4 million people in 1960, and now it's 1.2, 1.3 million people live in Philly now. That's how much
That's a city, though, right?
Yes, but it's still a microcosm of the country. If we were having a 75% amount of males, or I should say 75% of
Males
are reproducing, we would have a population boom. We're not seeing that. A population,
right.
Because
well, they must be getting murdered then, these children.
Yes, that's what he's leaving out.
I think. Does PBD catch that, or
no? He doesn't catch that. And I love Johnny's comment right there. Timo John Malkovich. That's golf clap. That is the
I love John Malkovich. I love his movies.
That is the quote of the night right there. That's hilarious. That made my night. Thank you, Johnny. That made my night.
See, than most men throughout history. So for most men claiming to be incels, it's like, boss, this is on you. We've all had to level up. And you probably have to level up more now because women are kind of, doing it for themselves now. And that's a wonderful thing. But level up and you will be voluntarily incelibate.
No, I agree. And I think also there's the other, the Playboy model, which is like, look, go get what you can, smash them, run, never get married. If you're going to have kids, have a structure in place that you can have kids with a bunch of different women. There's also that messaging that's very strong today, that the women, all they want is money. And if they'll leave you for a guy with more money, with better looks, with better this. So screw women. All you want to do is just take advantage of them. There's that as well. That's becoming very attractive. I think both of those arguments, the one on the far left, which is, hey, feminism, equal power, we're the same. That's a lie. And on this side, hey, to screw everybody, the women, all they want to do is take advantage of it. That's also a lie, I like the rules of three. I guess maybe let me ask you, well, that's becoming very attractive. I think both of those arguments, the one on the far left, which is, hey, feminism, equal power, we're the same. That's a lie.
Land on that. Bandit.
Yeah.
I think that's a good spot to end it.
Yep, we'll end it there. So
okay. I mean, I'm gonna put the links in the descriptions.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll share it right here down below so people can finish watching it.
Yeah, I mean,
honestly, the way he talks, I mean, so when I was looking for male role models to put in my child's line of sight or whatnot,
I mean,
the thing is, if he's 80% right, that's good. And it is. I mean, I still think he's possibly a good male role model.
I mean, what males need structure.
Yeah.
So what's the probably one of the best male role models you could possibly have is your sport coach, your coach.
Oh yeah,
That's
Kim had a boxing coach that he adored.
The next best role model is probably going to be health. It should be one should be the father. The father's not there. It should be the coach, or at least as making you a better man. And I would argue it should be this, but because of the way the church has been, it should have been your priest, because the priest is going to give you the morals and the structure that you need to be a better person. Is that your dog?
Yeah, going up and down the stairs.
But I mean, to be honest with you, it should be in a healthy society. We're not in a healthy society today, but a healthy society.
See, they
it
need
should
more
be,
than one. It should be friends,
well,
family,
that's the thing. Friends and family.
aunts, uncles,
It should be It should be one. The dad
grandpas.
should be your dad. Then it should be your family. Then it
Yeah.
should be your priest, or priests look for moral guidance, and then it should be your competitive side. It should be your coach, and then after your coach, I would say someone that a healthy role model that can merge more of the first three groups. So like if you don't have a father, okay, what would be a good role model for have a father? Someone that will give you those moral structures. So you need to find organizations that can do that. They, once again, that used to be the Boy Scouts because they had the moral
Right?
and the structure. That's not the way it used to be.
Yeah.
It used to be like the Lions Club, or as much as people probably are going to roast me for this, it might be like the Elks, or even the Freemasons, to somewhere where you can have males be males, and say, this is what society tells you, but this is how shit really goes down.
Yeah.
You need that guy. And last thing with this, remember, you have three groups of people in your life. You have the people that haven't grown up, the people that are at your level, and the people and the level that you want to be as a person. And that will change depending on where you are at your life. And your options are, you can bring people up, you can kick people down because they're never going to grow up. And if you want to be that next level, you're going to have to cut those relationships to be and then you can look at other people that you look up to, and they're supposed to bring you up to their level, kind of like a tier system. Okay. And if you're in the first group of people, you're never going to grow. Those are the people that peak in high school. I was a star athlete. I was the football player. And all you hear in their whole life is, man, remember that touchdown in '82? Oh man, this is great. Well, you peaked in high school. You're a piece of shit. You haven't grown. Then you have people that grew a little bit, but are just in their funk. And they have friends that are beneath them, and they can bring their friends up to this level, but you're peaked at this level because you're basically a ship without a rudder. You're basically just doing life. You're trying to do the best you can, but you have no dreams, no aspirations, no one to look forward to. And then you have that last group of people which is the people that are mentoring you, or the people that you want to become. This is why men need to have goals. And then those are the people that you want, the people that are going to push you to be the better man, the people that hold you accountable. Those are the people.
I think that guy is on point in doing that. He hopes he sounds like he's very pushy to men to be better men.
Yes, but I didn't hear one thing about women in this whole thing. It just seemed like it was just men do better.
Yeah, it's a good thing that women are fucking shitty today. That's what I heard. It's a real good thing that they have this economic independence and these freedoms and these rights, and
they're equal to us, but God forbid accountability.
Well, PBD just said it. It's a fucking lie.
Yeah.
Feminism. Yeah, he just said it.
But yeah, I know you're getting tired. I'll let you be. It's just, this is why I wanted you to come up and have this discussion, because
this is fun, Bandit. And we've been trying to orchestrate the celebration of the Boy Scouts.
That's a win. I'll take
that. Is such a win. I know. I was trying to look up because I know we looked this up years ago. Like just in my community, how many troops there were, and how many allowed girls in there. I couldn't find that list of troops. So I might have to look before, because wasn't it like something like 13 troops and 4 or 5 of them allowed girls?
No, everyone allows girls now. You have to allow girls.
Well, maybe now, but a couple years ago, they didn't all allow girls. The ones in my community, anyway.
2012 is when it started, and then I think 2016 is when I'll go look it up. When was the main? Hold on.
Well, no, because I remember finding this list, and it said where the scouts met, or where the troop met, and if it was fucking bisexual.
Okay, the Boy Scouts of America officially allowed girls in to join in 2018 with the launch of Cub Scouts. And in 2019, the BSA rebranded its flagship program, Scouting BSA welcomed girls ages 11 to 17. That's the other thing we haven't really talked about. 11 to 17-year-olds, men, or I should say boys, around 11 to 17-year-old girls. Would you allow a sleepover with a 17-year-old? You have a girl, okay? Would you allow a 17-year-old to sleep over with your 11-year-old daughter? How bad?
I'm fucking weird about sleepovers myself, so boy girl doesn't matter.
No, but I'm just saying, just in general, like say your son was a girl, okay? If you had a girl
Mm-hmm.
and you had a 17-year-old boy sleeping next to your 11-year-old girl. No, it's okay in the Boy Scouts, but that's batshit crazy. You would never allow that as an adult.
Mm-mm.
And it looks like this happened in 2019, so 8 years ago.
Yeah, but I remember looking
7
this
years
up.
ago.
Maybe it was with somebody else if you don't remember. I remember because I looked, it had a whole list of all the troops in my whole county and the different churches and different places they would meet. And it said specifically whether girls were allowed or not. And I feel like that maybe it's 3 or 4 that girls were allowed into out of all of them. It wasn't the majority of them. But this was years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Remember years ago when we talked about this being a problem?
Yeah, this has been a problem for a while. It's just,
Yeah.
But I appreciate the conversation. We definitely got to do this again. And
Yes, Bandit. This is always fun. Thank you.
It's always fun. I know your schedule's been busy, but we got to do more streams.
I know. My next day off's Friday.
That's tomorrow.
No, next Friday.
Well, sorry about that.
Yeah. Well, it is what it is.
Got to make that money.
Yep. And put in my time.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, Bandit. Thank you for sharing that, and thank you for torturing me with that nice gentleman.
Oh, anytime. If you love masochism, we'll keep it up. It's my job.
Okay, next time I'm going to find something to torture you with. It'll be my turn.
That's fair. I deserve it. That's fair.
Okay. Good night, everybody. Woody, good to see you. Oh, by the way, Woody, when is your roast stream thing? Do you have a link to it? So you can share it in case anybody wants to come? Emmanuel, good to see you. Johnny, good to see you. Rexus, good to see you. Tom, always good to see you.
Mandy, roast.
Woody's having a stream. Oh, you don't have a host yet? Is that what you're saying? He was looking for somebody to host it.
Oh, why don't you host it next Friday?
Because I don't know. Not yet, yes. Okay, so you don't have a host yet. I don't know when I'll... Wait, is it next Friday? I thought you said it was Sunday. Am I confused? Let me look at the email. Because if it's a Sunday, I definitely... It's this Sunday, Funday, yeah.
Well, Woody, let me know. Yeah.
No, you guys could just do it here. You guys can host your own little stream.
Oh, and you can give Woody my my info if he wants to reach out on Instagram. If he wants to reach out to me.
Okay.
You can spread the news.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, because if you guys want to do it here, you can do it here. I don't care. I might be able to If you guys want, I can set it up and then let people in, but I can't control anything because I'm going to be at work. Or ask Trevor. He has access to the channel. Woody, I'll give you the keys here, okay? Oh, your computer's broken. Of course. Bandit will fire one up. How about that? Right?
I'll figure something out.
We'll figure it out. Okay. Good night, everybody.
Night.
Come to Woody's stream on Sunday. It's going to be probably all kinds of inappropriate, but funny.
The stream.
Right. Bye, guys.
The stream that we want.
Yeah, right?
Or the stream that we deserve.
It's the stream everybody deserves. All right. Good night, everybody.
Night.